town.
WREL has everything you need when you need it, including this special report.
AI-powered fraud leaving victims in limbo.
Anytime there's a natural disaster, the criminals come out.
Hurricanes, flooding, even tornado damage. 4 steps you can take to avoid becoming a victim. Tomorrow at 6.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening. But he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Another very hot afternoon. We have a heat advisory in effect on this WRAL weather alert day. It'll feel like 105 to 107, high of 96. A few isolated evening thunderstorms with a low of 77, and we will repeat tomorrow. Highs in the mid-90s, a heat advisory, and a chance for a heat index up to 107.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 228 points to 44,608.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits!
Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly. Max Gorin will be producing the show. Dennis should be back with us tomorrow. It's a good little Tuesday. NFL game week. Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Training camps going on all over the place. The news that is coming in and out of training camp is the good stuff. The amount of times somebody has been helped off the field by trainers only to, turns out it's cramp. It's going to be fine. Just needed some electrolytes. It's happening all over the NFL, and just that little jolt of energy, that little, oh no, that's the adrenaline we're looking for. It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Let's keep that adrenaline rolling with the Big 3 at 3. Of course, we start with one.
Number 1.
It's Quarterback Tuesday, everybody. We're test driving something today. It's called QB Tuesday, Quarterback Tuesday. It's the most important position in sports. And there's so much riding on it, so much new, so many questions, might be the better way to say that, not so much questions, so many questions. Whether it's Bryce Young, whether it's here in the triangle at the college level with CJ Bailey looking to make the next step at NC State. A couple of new guys in Gio Lopez and Darian Mensah for UNC and Duke. Perhaps I should say with Gio Lopez. Hasn't been officially named the starter. We're going to start on Tuesdays until we decide that it's run its course, making sure we are up to date, making sure we aren't missing anything at the most important position in sports. Because, I can only say it so many times where I say something like, it doesn't matter how good your defense is if your quarterback can't score. If your quarterback's throwing a pick six, doesn't matter how good your defense is. If your quarterback can't pick up first downs, doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. Give him all day to throw if you can't find the open guy. Right? Quarterback is the position where what everybody else does affects them, but there's really nothing everyone else can do to guarantee good play from the quarterback. So we'll be looking today at the college quarterbacks. We'll be talking about, at about 3:15, CJ Bailey's potential next step from one of the best true freshman quarterbacks in NC State history. What does this second year look like for him? We'll be looking later on about how Bill Belichick develops quarterbacks and if perhaps Tom Brady spoiled him in a way that has made it more difficult for him to develop quarterbacks moving forward because everybody's not Tom Brady. Spoiler alert. And then Darian Mensah, what's his role in Duke? For the school, Duke football, that prides themselves on so little roster turnover, right? Not many leaving in the transfer portal, amongst the fewest players leaving in the portal of any school in the entire country. Maybe the most important person on their roster is a big, high-priced incoming transfer portal guy. So we'll break all that down. It's a little quarterback Tuesday. It's like Taco Tuesday, but more important to football players. That's number one. Let's hit number two.
Number two.
Speaking of the NFL getting started, today was a non-pads day for the Carolina Panthers. But I'm going to use today as another. It's not just Quarterback Tuesday. This won't be recurring, but it's also a day that I'm declaring like a safe space for reacting, and some would say overreacting to what we've been given. The Carolina Panthers training camp has been much more closed down. Okay, for those of you that don't know, training camp usually fans are allowed at certain practices, and fans there's no rules on what fans record. Right, so if you're sitting in the stands watching a Carolina Panthers training camp practice last year, you can bring up your phone. If you have the latest iPhone, latest Android, you can hit that 10 times Zoom or whatever and get every drill. But this year, due to some ongoing construction and things, they're not letting fans at training camp. And the media that is allowed to be in attendance does have limits, right? There are certain periods that you're allowed to film, certain periods of practice you're not allowed to film. So we are not getting a billion clips this year, right? We're kind of getting early practice one-on-ones, not getting much 11-on-11, not like the stuff we're seeing from other teams we're not getting from the Panthers. So because of that, I feel like we're all very reluctant to react. You see a play from Teteroa McMillan, you're like, ooh, never mind. You see a good defensive play from a young guy, you're like, yeah, but we don't know what happened the rest of practice. Maybe he got burnt 10 times. So I'm making today a safe place, a little safe spot for all of us. Overreact away, right? We can only judge off of what the information we have. And unless they're going to give us access to the all-22 footage, that coaching cam footage, right, from the bird's eye view horizontally, the bird's eye view lengthwise, unless we're going to get that, we got to make do with what we got. So when Xavier Legette hits J.C. Horn with a little stutter and go to start practice, and there's a deep ball and it's complete, maybe Xavier Legette was hurt last year. Maybe that's why he was struggling so much. Maybe the foot injury was more serious than we thought. Maybe J.C. Horn, that 4-year, $100 million contract, is it an overpay? Again, we're overreacting. I want to be clear on that. Because it was also one of the first plays of the practice. And if I'm J.C. Horn with the injury history, I'm not straining like I'm running the 100-meter at the Olympics on the first rep of the day. But the young guys did have a big day. And by young guys, I mean in the secondary. Shamar Bartholomew. Last year, I think he was mostly just kind of a, hey, do you see that guy's name? Shamar Bartholomew? That's hilarious. This year, due to the fact that there were a couple vet days, a couple of Mike Jackson, meaning the veteran corner, J.C. Horn. They got veterans rest days today. The young guys were out there a bit more. Here's what Dave Canales had to say about Shamar Bartholomew.
Absolutely. I think with Shamar, just understanding the scheme, coming from the Jets, out of scheme, spent a year with us kind of learning, and showed up in the Falcons game at the end and made a couple of plays for us there. Couple of big battles with Drake London there in the end zone towards the end of the half. But Shamar's kind of taken this offseason. He had a really good spring. Came into camp and has been steady, but today I think was a big day for him. It was a big, just kind of what we've been challenging is to just make the play on the ball. You're in the right spot, have the confidence to go make the play. He did that today and came up with one.
That is the definition of let's overreact to something at training camp. You mean the starters weren't playing, it was a non-padded day, and a young guy made a couple plays? You darn right he's pencil him into the depth chart. Who needs cornerback depth? Not us. You still need cornerback depth. That's number 2. Let's hit number 3.
Number 3.
Ike Ekwonu had a good day the last couple of days. And I'm not overreacting to training camp. This has nothing to do with training camp. It has to do with offensive tackles getting paid every which way across the NFL. So Rashawn Slater a couple of days ago broke the bank for offensive tackles. Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle for the Chargers, which is very good news for UNC fans out there. Amari and Hampton, Joe Alt on one side, Rashawn Slater on the other. He'll be just fine running behind those run-blocking road graders. But Rashawn Slater got 4 years, $114 million. That included a record $92 million guaranteed for an offensive tackle, and it makes him the highest-paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Cool title to have. But that is, Rashawn Slater is one of the best, right? You watch his film, you look at his PFF grade, like he's one of the best. So him getting paid great, you're going, all right, that doesn't affect Ike Ekwonu. Right? I guess maybe the market as a whole just got a little bit bigger, but it's not there. Right? Ike's not there. He's not flirting with the largest, highest-paid contract in NFL history for an offensive lineman. But then the next day, Colts offensive tackle Bernhard Raimann, there's 2 N's at the end there, he got 4 years, $100 million. And that's more like, that's no disrespect to Bernhard. That's more of just a normal run-of-the-mill starter at the NFL level. That's somebody that you trust having out there, but you may not consider like an all-pro, like a Rashawn Slater.
Well, I mean, it's like Sandra Bullock said in The Blind Side. The second highest paid player on the NFL team is going to be the left tackle.
You're darn right. The whole book is about it. But which, side note, there's some stuff coming out about that whole relationship.
It was not quite as the movie portrayed.
And maybe even the Tuohys, the father and the writer of the book might have had a little previous relationship, so maybe they were – I'm just saying. But the story is true, or at least the NFL research is true, which is the tackles are so darn important in the NFL right now. If Ike Ekwonu has a good year, Panthers better budget. Right? If Ike Ekwonu has a decent year, Panthers better budget, right? Just a starting caliber. It doesn't have to be top in the league. Just a starting caliber offensive tackle, you're looking at $20, $25 million a year, and that's for nothing special, right? That's for we're comfortable with him out there, not we're excited to have him out there. And if you want to, if you want your heart on fire, you're going to have to go find somebody else. But then you're paying, $28 million a year, which is a whole different beast. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is Quarterback Tuesday. That was the big 3 at 3. And the first to take center stage will be C.J. Bailey of NC State. We break it down coming up next.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Hey, Daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and a Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
2 running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State! And now the fireworks go off on time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quarterback Tuesday. First to the stage. CJ Bailey. Rising sophomore quarterback for the NC State Wolfpack. How do you feel about CJ Bailey, Wolfpack Nation?
I'm a fan of his.
I am as well. I've had some interactions with some NC State fans, and I think they're really excited, but I think they don't want anybody to know they're really excited about CJ Bailey. I think they're holding themselves back from letting their excitement go full haywire for CJ Bailey. I mean, I'll use a term that Justin Jolie actually used on his Twitter. He says CJ Bailey is one of them ones, right? Which is a very high compliment. Basically saying he don't sleep on him. And we talked to Justin Jolie about it at ACC Media Day. He didn't like where CJ Bailey was coming in with some of the preseason rankings of quarterbacks and things, and he wanted everybody to know that his quarterback is one of them ones. Seems like fans want to whisper that amongst friends rather than shout it to the rooftops for NC State. They want to go, CJ Bailey. Second best true freshman season for a quarterback. School history. Only one better, Phil Rivers. Andy, he didn't even start the season as a starter, right? He was backing up Grayson McCall. He was thrown in there. Andy was 17 years old because he was really young coming out of high school. Andy's put on 20 pounds. Andy's done this. Andy's done that. But nobody wants to yell it loud. It's almost like they were burned last year, and State fans maybe burned a bunch of years from getting too boisterous in preseason. So this year, it's the overcorrection. Like last year, we celebrated too openly about how awesome the transfer portal was. So this year, we're not going to believe anything until we don't only see it, but see it 2, 3, 4 times. Bailey's going to have to be good for a month before they start championing him in a way that is public.
I think, honestly, I think you've pretty much hit the nail on the head. As a graduate from NC State myself, in the past, the hype does tend to get a little carried away versus the actual product. I think people are excited about CJ Bailey. They are cautiously optimistic, but my sense of it is a lot of people are kind of distracting themselves with the Will Wade basketball of it all and are hoping to kind of be like pleasantly surprised if there's some good success on the football field this year. So I think you've got it pretty right there. As a full team, I don't doubt that at all. And I actually think it's kind of the way Dave Doran chooses to operate is a little bit of like, don't talk about it, be about it. Like if everybody wants to focus on Belichick, if everybody wants to focus on Will Wade, we're just going to put our work in here in the shadows. Yeah. And then hopefully on game day, we'll have something to surprise you with. They operate a lot better as underdogs too.
I'd agree with that as well. Sometimes it feels, and never was this more true than the Brennan Armstrong year a couple years ago, where it's like as soon as everybody counts them out, then all of a sudden they're a fantastic team.
Yeah, it was like a big, like resounding swell in the
Yeah.
second half of the season behind
Brendan Armstrong playing like a grown bleep man.
Yeah, after I'm already forgetting the name of the
MJ Morris.
Yes, after he came back in, everyone was so hyped to see him play again, and then for Brendan Armstrong to come back from being benched.
So
and kind of take over. It was mostly led by the defense, which is always what NC State's MO typically is, but
So here's where I'm going with this. Team wise, everything Max just said is true. CJ Bailey wise, I'm going to give you the reason I am most excited about this player as a quarterback, and it's the last 2 games of the year. He played well versus UNC, and even in the loss for ECU, he threw it decent. Okay, I'm talking as a passer here. His 2 worst games as a passer were the Duke and Georgia Tech game, which were their 4th and 3rd to last games of the year, right? So he went Duke and Georgia Tech and then followed that up with UNC and ECU. And that's from 2 of his worst games as a passer to 2 good games, right? I'm not saying they were the most unbelievable, but UNC and ECU, he threw it well. And that is one of the more difficult things to evaluate, one of the more difficult things. I don't even know if you can teach it. And it's one of the more important things for a quarterback. I don't buy into quarterbacks. You will hear me being very, very trepidatious. Quarterbacks at all levels until I see them struggle and get it back. Because they're like it's the one-hit wonder thing, right? I've seen quarterbacks, Panther fans. Remember Kyle Allen started 5-0, and then what happened, right? No disrespect to Kyle Allen, like he kind of got quote unquote figured out. And there's examples of that all through college. There's examples of that all through the NFL.
They call that regression to the mean.
It's regression to the mean, and it's some guys when they have some success, their brain goes perfect, and then some guys when they have some success, their brain goes, how do I stay one step ahead of the curve? How do I figure this out? Okay, now they're figuring me out. What's my counter punch? Once you prove that you're a great counter puncher, that you can get knocked in the face and come back swinging, then I think that's just part of your DNA. That's how you're going to be moving forward. The most obvious example I get of this, and it might be the most obvious because he's the best doing it right now, but it's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes burst onto the scene rookie year, first year as a starter, 1 billion touchdowns. The second year, they figured him out. Oh, they were giving him all too high safeties, too high shell, everybody deep. Can't throw it deep to Tyreek Hill over the top if we send everybody deep. They figured him out, and he struggled for like 6 games. And then he figured it out. And I went, uh-oh. Guy that talented, guy that much arm talent, guy that much improbability is also somebody that gets punched in the mouth and doesn't lose it, doesn't get discouraged, keeps moving forward. He's going to be around a long time. Now, you may say, it took you that long to buy into Patrick Mahomes? He had like 50 touchdowns and won MVP his first year as a starter. Yeah, but it's not until you get punched in the mouth do I know if it's sustainable. I'm not saying CJ Bailey was awful in those games. I'm not saying he, got knocked down to the canvas and they were counting to 10 and made it to 8 before he stood up. But having a rough patch as a true freshman starter at the power conference level and bouncing back against 2 rivals like UNC and ECU, and I know ECU was a loss, I'm talking individually, and playing better as a passer, as a decision maker in those games, I'm excited about that. And it gets to the point now because every quarterback, every single one faces tough moments. Every single one is going to throw an interception that loses a game. Every single one is going to have rough patches. If you can get yourself out of that rut fast, if you can adjust, I'm excited about you. And then we can start looking at all of the physical things. Then we can say, and he's 6'6", maybe pushing 6'7". Some reports out there that he grew another inch this offseason, that he's, instead of 190 or 192, whatever he was last year, he might be pushing something like 210, 215, maybe at the beginning of camp 220. Still a skinny guy, but add to it a little bit of durability, has the rushing touchdowns. Even in some of those games, I was saying he struggled as a passer. He was still finding the end zone with his legs. Like there's other things to get excited about once you know he has that bounce back ability. That I don't even know what the official term is. That durability of mind.
He's got that Scotty Scheffler.
A little bit of Scotty Scheffler. Like, once Scotty Scheffler bogeys, bet the house he's going to birdie the next one. And it doesn't even have to be that, right? The Scotty Scheffler's the best doing it. If you're just somebody who can guarantee after a bogey you're going to par, right? That's what a quarterback has. You have to throw an interception, have a bad game, and the next game come back. The football cliche is when you're down 14, there's no 15-point play. Right? You can't make it all up in one play. You just have to continue making good decision after good decision after good decision and let your physical ability stand out. So there's a lot to like when you go back and watch. Like C.J. Bailey has a real whippy arm, right? He spins it. He doesn't have to be a guy that's 6'6", 245 to have a strong enough arm to make all the throws. His form allows him to use the long levers that he has and really whip it out there. Like, there are things to like, but the thing I'm most excited about is the fact that struggles don't rattle him in the way we've seen it rattle guys who it becomes their fatal flaw. It is a confidence position. You're going to hear me say that a lot, right? It's Quarterback Tuesday. One of the all-knowing truths I have about quarterbacks is quarterback is a confidence position. And what I mean by that is very simple. And I've been saying this when I was a player and before. You can't hesitate because you're worried about the outcome. If I throw this interception, everybody's gonna. If I throw this interception, coach is gonna. If this isn't complete, so and so is gonna get mad. Because if you're thinking that before you let it go, you're too late. C.J. Bailey, and by the way, it's easy at the beginning of the year. Before you have your first two interception game, you cut it loose. Let it fly. Everybody's Brett Favre. You have your first day at practice and training camp where the defense is talking trash and they're getting the better of you. The next day, that's the day it's tough to cut it loose and not hesitate and play instinctually. C.J. Bailey, I believe, showed the signs of being on the right side, the good side of that argument last year. And I'm more excited about that than any stat you tell me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, one of C.J. Bailey's teammates from last year, is going to be on the Dean's list. Although he was on the defensive side of the ball, we might see him on the offensive side of the ball sometime soon. Stick around, the Dean's list coming up next here on The Drive.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-7906. 800-298-7906.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. In honor of it being Quarterback Tuesday, little update on the Hall of Fame game coming up on Thursday, where the Lions and the Chargers unofficially, it's a real, like it's sanctioned by the NFL, but it's a game that doesn't matter. They call it the Hall of Fame game. It's the first preseason game of the NFL season, and Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has announced Trey Lance will start the Hall of Fame game for the Chargers.
Did not know he was with their program.
He is somebody that I could see Jim Harbaugh working somehow into a package of some kind, because people forget Trey Lance, for all of his maybe inadequacies as a quarterback, he is definitely an athlete, and he can fly. So we might see some – that makes the Hall of Fame game more interesting for me, because now at least we know at any point in time the quarterback can tuck it and run a 4-3, right? We might see an 80-yard touchdown run from the quarterback of the Chargers. He'll be chased by guys that are going to be on practice squads and perhaps cut next week, but still, it'll look like a Ferrari out there. Dude can run. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Just a little update for you on a Quarterback Tuesday. It's also time for the Dean's List, so let's go ahead and fire that bad boy up. Class is in session. This is where we highlight those that deserve a few extra accolades, get a little bit more praise in the college sports world, at least indirectly related to the college sports world. Starting with, I mentioned one of C.J. Bailey's teammates last year at NC State. We're talking former NC State safety, D.K. Kaufman. During his senior season last year for State, after transferring in, played 1 year at State. As a safety, he had 67 tackles, an interception, a sack, 6 quarterback hits, and 4 pass breakups. Nice little season. He was signed by the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. It's good news, right? Do you know what makes him even more impressive and something that I'm even more jealous of? Like, I'm jealous that he gets to play even for a day, right? Even if he's cut tomorrow, you get the jersey, you get the helmet, you get the memory. They signed him as a running back and kick returner. Now, he did return kicks at State, 15 returns, 469 yards. But how athletic do you have to be that you could be a college safety? By the way, the Seahawks, I believe, cut or injured. Maybe he was injured. Kenny McIntosh, the old Georgia running back. So they needed a running back, and they brought in a dude that played safety. Think about that. The athleticism through the roof. And I know, if you're big, tall, strong, and fast, you should be able to know it's different. Hitting, catching, pass blocking versus shedding blocks. It may seem similar. It is not. D.K. Kaufman, the end of the preseason roster NFL equivalent of Shohei Ohtani. Emphasis on the end of the preseason roster. Likely won't make the 53-man roster at any point in his career. But the versatility, wildly impressive.
Travis Hunter. We'll discuss him later.
I would say Travis Hunter might be the on the actual roster version of Shohei, starting equivalent to Shohei Ohtani. D.K. Kaufman more of the barely making the preseason roster version, but still, that's pretty cool. At the very least, if you never played down in the NFL, you can go, that was a college safety that they thought was good enough to bring in as a running back. It's good. Drop the mic in any athletic conversation moving forward. Speaking of, I don't know if you've seen this. I don't understand social media algorithms. I talk about them with our social media manager. They still don't make sense. Have you seen this thing going around where like girlfriends and wives and daughters are asking their boyfriends and husbands and dads, do you ever wish you were more athletic?
No, I hadn't seen that.
And they just record the responses. And now this is my own observation, because I've probably watched, 10 or 15 of them, because it's once you see it, it's kind of funny. The people that didn't do much athletically get really insulted by the question. Like, if they were a good high school player, they get like, what are you talking about? I was all conference. Like, they get like kind of mad. But I was watching one, it was Jorge Posada. And I think it was Jorge Posada's daughter. So the longtime catcher for the Yankees. They're like, hey, Dad, do you ever wish you were more athletic? And he very calmly was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I wish, right? I'm faster. Like, I was able to do some things, but yeah, I wish I was more athletic. And then I started paying attention to it. Like, the guys that made it to like high college or pros, they very much answer the question like, well, yeah, I mean, if you knocked a tenth off my 40, I think that would have really helped me out there. Meanwhile, the ones that didn't make it were like, what are you talking about? NC State former safety DK Kaufman doesn't have to worry about that. His history will say you were athletic enough. Do you have a Dean's Lister you'd like to throw out there, Mike?
I do. This one is he's hot off the presses. Actually, is staying at NC State. This video actually just got posted at 2:54 this afternoon. It is of Dave Doran and his family playing golf. And Dave Doran appears to potentially have made a hole-in-one. Let's listen to the reaction right here. So as you can guess, the ball was in the bottom of the hole. He has the NC State Tuffy branded golf ball. Just living all our dreams. Coach in the offseason, throwing one on 18 nonetheless. So there aren't a ton of courses that I know that end on a par 3, but this one, he just put it in the bottom of the cup. So shout out Dave Doran, Dean's List for the hole-in-one.
First of all, I wanna golf with whoever was the one going crazy there. Because that's good vibes for somebody.
It was
in your
all
group.
of them. They're all. And you can see the video. It's on NC State football's X account at Pack Football. They're just running around the green like going nuts, and then eventually Darn comes back and gives a hearty fist pump, pulls it out of the hole, shows off the Tuffy logo. One of
the things I pride myself on is if you do something special on the golf course, I'm making it feel like it was Sunday at Augusta. If you hit a hole-in-one and I'm around, and I haven't seen one, but if even if you just stick it close, like we're chest bumping, I'm making you feel like something special.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than throwing a dart. I've never been in a group that's made a hole-in-one, but when I've played at Pine Hollow over in Clayton, there are 2 par 3s. It's 13 and 15, and twice while standing, once on the tee box of 14 and once at the green, I've seen a hole-in-one on 13 and a hole-in-one go in on 15. But neither of them were playing in my group.
Did you get drinks out of it?
No.
Oh, come on.
I don't enforce that. I feel like that rule is kind of lame. I feel like if you make a hole-in-one, you shouldn't be paying for anybody's drinks.
I think you should get to choose. It's first of all, we could do this for days and days. Nobody can make you pay anything, right? I do think if everybody in your group has good vibes, you should do something for them. Could be as simple as literal 1 beer, just because for the rest of your life you're going to be calling on them as you can ask so-and-so, right? So like the cost of being the witness for the rest, like anytime I text you, if I need you to confirm that I hit the hole-in-one, like, all right, I'll pick up the burgers after the game. That is fair. As far as like picking up for everybody in the club, I don't think you should have to do that unless you got it like that and you want if you want everybody to celebrate your hole-in-one, you got to bring something. If you're cool with everybody else sticking to themselves and nobody cheersing to you, you don't got to pay anything.
The rule may have been invented in a private country club where everybody's
got it like that.
Just put it on my tab. Yeah. It's not. I don't think that rule is designed for the old municipal hit and giggle courses.
I don't even know if this was on air at ACC kickoff, the media day. One of the questions I like to get to loosen up the players, because sometimes they're very formal, is what kind of a travel partner is your head coach? because there's 3 or 4 players and the coach, and that's it, right? So if they're doing the private jet, they're in the private jet. If they're driving up, they're driving up together. And you don't often travel with your head coach. I think it was Caden Fordham, the linebacker for State, but don't quote me on who it was. I said, like, how's Dave Doran oh, no, actually, hold on. That's wild he hit a hole-in-one because it was a Boston College player. I believe it was the offensive lineman Logan Taylor for Boston College said Bill O'Brien as a travel partner, all he wanted to talk about was he hit his first hole-in-one the other day. And that's all he wanted to talk about the whole time they were on the plane. So Dave Doran, maybe a little one-upsmanship on Billy O.B. Little bit of, oh, you hit a hole-in-one? Watch this. Wow, that came to me like as I was telling the story.
Yeah.
Because I assumed there couldn't be 2 that hit a hole-in-one.
No, I remember that interview you guys did, and Brandon Cleveland and Caden Fordham, they did say that Doran is a good travel partner.
True.
They took him out for like steaks or something the night before,
he likes to eat good food. Yep. Getting my ACC coaches crossed up. Last member of the Dean's List, just because I think it's important to applaud people when they do this. Lincoln Riley, USC's head football coach. So the USC-Notre Dame rivalry is not scheduled or under contract to be played beyond 2026, which is noteworthy because that rivalry, USC and Notre Dame, from South Bend, Indiana to L.A., has been played every year since 1926, excluding 3 years when World War II was going on and there was like very few football games being played.
They had like the Rose Bowl at Duke.
Yeah, exactly. And 2020 when the Pac-12 canceled all non-conference games due to COVID. Other than that, it's been played every year since 1926. Lincoln Riley was asked about it, and in part he said, I want to play the game. Absolutely. It's one of the reasons I came here. He went on to say, like, his allegiance is to USC and not Notre Dame and blah, 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 blah. But I think you need to be comfortable defending your rivalries because people are going to try to take them from us. We're already seeing it in basketball, right? They've now made it so UNC and NC State are not going to play 2 times every year in men's and women's basketball. It's foolish. Now, UNC, right, the rumor out of Inside Carolina last week, UNC, as conference realignment happens, is aiming for the SEC. If UNC goes to the SEC and State doesn't, they need to commit to making that an every year non-conference game the same way Clemson and South Carolina do.
That's got to be rivalry week.
The same way Georgia Tech and Georgia do. I actually think the easiest way is just to make sure they're in the same conference and have it a protected rivalry. But if not, somebody's got to defend these things. Because USC Notre Dame not happening just becomes a bummer. And I'm not a fan of USC or Notre Dame. It's just one of those games. If the teams I like are not on, it's like I know the stakes are going to be high. I know the intensity is going to be high. And I know for the most part over the years, the level of football is going to be high.
Yeah, and it's crucial to like the DNA of college football. Like
Yes.
these rivalries, like the USC Notre Dame, the Iron Bowl. To a lesser extent, something like UNC NC State, right? Like
the textile bowls
the
or
textile
the
bowl,
backyard brawl.
These yearly rivalries is such an important part of the fabric of college football that we need to protect them as much as we can, especially with the way conferences and everything are changing, and it's all going out the window. So we got to keep some things consistent.
I won't harp on this too much, but I also don't see how it's not good business. Like, there's no way USC Notre Dame is not a game that the media partners would love, that would fill gigantic stadiums if you want to play it on neutral. Like, the game can make a bunch of money, build brands. If it's about money, follow the bouncing dollar. And second of all, if you haven't been on the Dean's List yet and you are a newsmaker in college sports, one of the ways to guarantee it is to go out there and fight for the things that need to be fought for, like rivalries. If you do that, I'll make space for you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We can dismiss the Dean's List. And we can get ready for our next stop on Quarterback Tuesday. Is it Gio Lopez's team at UNC? And if not, why won't Bill Belichick just give it to him already? Quarterback Tuesday continues next.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends. Give me that dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Hurry into Family Fare to get 2 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew for just $4. Family Fare, first in thirst.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Open the lid on a carton of Bluebell Homemade in the Shade, and you'll have it made, so to speak. It's a combination of our top-selling homemade vanilla ice cream with a swirl of rich chocolate fudge sauce. Enjoy an instant classic.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
At Bailey's, love not only sparkles, but it also gives back. Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. Yes, we have high-quality certified diamonds that fit your budget. But did you know that when you say I do with an engagement ring from Bailey's, a donation is made to the food bank to help feed a local family of 4 for an entire month? Celebrate your love with Bailey's, where every diamond helps create a brighter future. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted the best place to buy your diamond.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There are few things I am more passionate about in covering sports than the proper handling of quarterbacks. And the reason being, I think it's fragile. I think it's touch and go. I think how you handle them, unless they are one of the handful of inevitable quarterbacks out there, the guys that, no matter what you do will end up great, and there's not many of them. Other than that, how you develop them matters. Other than that, the decisions you make matters. Other than that, how you treat them matters. And for that, it may seem like something small, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but why hasn't Gio Lopez been named the starter for Bill Belichick and UNC? If the rumors and reports are true, he's making $2 million in NIL this year. You don't pay that for a backup. They brought him to ACC kickoff. Think about that. They brought the quarterback to ACC kickoff. What is ACC kickoff? It's a media day. What does that mean? Television, like the upstairs area, there's like 7-8 interviews he's going to give. Just boom, 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 car wash. Going to come down to where we were, the local radio section on the first floor. And guess what? Boom, 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 boom. Another 7 or 8 more interviews. And he had to, in all of them, well, we're going to compete, and I'm just trying to do the best that I'm. Not one time did he get to puff his chest out and say, I'm the leader of this offense. Not once did he get to go out there confidently. And again, maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but I think it matters. And this is no intended disrespect to Belichick for how he's handling it. Bill Belichick has done, like during his time as a coach, darn near everything pretty darn good. Except if there's one thing that I think he's struggled with, it could be the handling of quarterbacks. Quarterback, as you'll hear me say over and over and over again, so get used to it, is a confidence position. The more the more self-belief you have, the better you play, and I've seen it time and time and time again. Gio Lopez needs to be fed confidence. And I could list a billion examples. Matter of fact, I'll use one from ACC Media Day. Talked to Cade Klubnik of Clemson. And we talked to him a bit because Clemson brought in a couple of transfers this year. And prior to that, they were like, Dabo was anti-transfer portal, anti-bringing anyone in. And Cade Klubnik was talking about it, basically saying his first year as a starter wasn't good enough. And the coach saying, we're not bringing anyone in. We're not going to the transfer portal. We're not bringing in competition for you. It's your job, and I'm all in. Gave him the confidence, gave him the self-belief. Then he went out and had 43 total touchdowns last year against 6 interceptions, and now he's projected as one of the top picks. The energy you feed into your quarterback matters, and it's possible Tom Brady could have kind of ruined Bill Belichick in that way. Because Tom Brady was different. Tom Brady was different. He's, I think, inevitable, right? The fact that he could start as a 6th-round pick, 4th on the 7th on the depth chart, whatever he was, and so quickly become who he became, it doesn't happen to just anybody, right? He might have been inevitable. But it's also, like, you can treat him different. He had it might not even be like a positive wiring. He might have had a screw loose in a way that Bill Belichick could treat him differently than most quarterbacks need to be treated. There are rumors. They used to call them Tell the Truth Tuesdays or Tell the Truth Mondays with the Patriots, where whole team meeting, everybody in the meeting room, all active guys, all practice squad, all coaches, and Bill Belichick would play the lowlights from Tom Brady and say, gosh, Foxborough High School quarterback guy could have made this throw. Just to set the tone on some, like, if I'm insulting Tom Brady, none of y'all are safe. Everybody better be on your P's and Q's. And Tom Brady, because he's so wired, that worked, right? It didn't affect him. He kept his confidence. He kept going out there and performing. I don't think there are many quarterbacks that do well with that. And I'm not saying you can't criticize them. I'm not saying you coddle them. I'm not saying you baby them. But there's ways to make sure you let them know you're my guy. You don't have a short leash. You don't have to worry about making mistakes, because if you worry about making mistakes, it just makes you a slower decision maker. And also let them know you are susceptible to being corrected, and we're not treating you with any kind of kid gloves or training wheels. But also let me be clear about this. Quarterback is not any other position. They should not be treated the same. Gio Lopez not being named starter is different than if the Tar Heels didn't name a running back a starter, or a linebacker, or a edge rusher. Do you know why? You can do those things harder. If you're a linebacker and you're in a quarterback competition, you can tackle harder. You can run harder. You can do everything you can with more. Like, what does a quarterback do? You want him to throw every pass 120 miles an hour? No, you need them calm. You need them relaxed. Watch most, unless you're like Drew Brees and you got that whole like call and response summer camp screaming thing, watch most pregame huddles. There's going to be some defensive player or offensive lineman in the middle trying to get everybody hyped up. Time to eat. We're going to go out there. You only eat what you kill. We're going to blah, 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 blah. And the quarterback's going to be somewhere meandering on the outside, probably with a football in his hand, spinning it in his hand like he's out for a walk on a Sunday, because you can't get more amped up to play quarterback, which is which competitions like that, that's what it does. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to outwork this guy. Okay, well, relax, buddy. We need you to stay calm and chill.
Do you think that maybe the reason they haven't named him starter is there is a chance either Max Johnson is coming back or Bryce Baker could step into that role? I know it's probably a little less likely with him being a freshman, but
if it is a true competition, then you need to worry about the other one's confidence.
Yeah, by what? Just like by bringing Gio Lopez to ACC kickoff,
making it, answering questions about him in the ways that they did. Like if it's a true competition, then you got to treat him equally. Because if you're the guy in the competition and you're the one getting no love from the coach, I don't care about the outside world, right? Who cares who the media is talking about? But from the coaching staff, that matters. It does. And again, the Tom Brady thing may impact Bill Belichick here. And the way I say that is, let me think. Graham knew this. I don't know if Max. Do you know? I go movie reference all the time. Have you seen the movie? Let me think here. I think it's Seabiscuit with Tobey Maguire.
I have not.
You are so young. It's a good movie. First of all, horse racing movie. Spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen like the best movie of 2004 or whatever it was. There is a scene where they're talking about Seabiscuit, this horse, right? Undersized, blah, blah, blah. It's an underdog story. But everybody, meaning the trainer, the jockey, the owner, they all think they're the only one that knows this secret about Seabiscuit, which is basically, according to the movie script, Seabiscuit's the only, like, competitive horse out there. Like, actually gets insulted if they lose. So the move is you kind of let Seabiscuit fall behind and let a horse get in front of him and kick some dirt in its face. And then Seabiscuit's like, not today. You're not embarrassing me. And it takes off. Now, in the movie, that's good strategy. So when the jockey gets hurt and another jockey's on the horse, they're all like pulling him off to the side going, this is going to sound crazy, but let Seabiscuit fall behind. And of course, like all three of them tell it and it's a whole thing. But my point is, if you had Seabiscuit and your strategy was to let them fall behind to feel that dirt being kicked in their face and then you go try to ride another horse and you're like, I know how to get a horse to run fast. You let them fall behind early intentionally and get dirt kicked in their face. And then all the other horses are like, I don't like this. I'm going to ride slow. And you're like, but wait a second. It used to work. You're being conditioned to do the wrong thing by an alien, special, supernatural horse. Bill Belichick, the way he treated Tom Brady, I don't think is the way you treat quarterbacks, especially in college, to get the most out of them. You have to feed them confidence so they're out there and they don't think if I throw 2 interceptions in this game, I'm going to get benched. Because that leads to sack. That leads to, I know the read tells me to go here, but that guy looks fast. Boom. If you treat them like you treated Tom Brady, I don't think it's the right way to do it because these guys aren't Seabiscuit. I hope everybody kept up with that metaphor. If not, you're going like, what? Brady, Seabiscuit? Where's Gio Lopez in all of this? Does that mean Bryce Baker is Man-O-War? What is happening? Well, if you're lost, that's okay. We'll get it back on track when we come back. We have football at 4 where we are making it okay to overreact to the training camp clips we've seen from the Carolina Panthers. Teteroa McMillan, best wide receiver ever, right? Next.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Thomas Rhett, Better in Boots Tour 2025.
Was someone as beautiful as
July 31st, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh. International country music superstar Thomas Rhett. Don't miss the tour of the summer. With Tucker Wetmore.
I'm gonna wind up missing you.
And Dasha. On sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse concert series. Thomas Rhett's new album, About a Woman, out now.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Another very hot afternoon. We have a heat advisory in effect on this WRAL weather alert day. It'll feel like 105 to 107 with a high of 96. A few isolated evening thunderstorms with a low of 77. And we will repeat tomorrow. Highs in the mid-90s, a heat advisory, and a chance for a heat index up to 107.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 199 points to 44,638. Market update brought to you by Bolton Construction Services. Bolton is actively hiring experienced HVAC techs with a $2,500 sign-on bonus. As a family-owned leader in HVAC, Bolton puts people first. Don't miss out. Apply now at boltonservice.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
This is The Drive here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. And it is Football at 4 time. Get it? Football at 4. The time is 4. Anyway, right now I'm going to do what I consider kind of the training camp equivalent of saying no offense before you insult somebody. Right? No offense. But you're pretty annoying. I said no offense. You can't take offense to it, right? As long as you put the proper qualifier ahead of the statement, it's cool, right? Then there's no foul. I did not break any rules. So we all know July 29th, pre-Hall of Fame game in the NFL preseason, pre-game 1 of the preseason. We're barely putting pads on across the NFL and training camps. You're not supposed to take anything from training camp clips. Just like you're not supposed to take anything of substance from mini camp clips. Just like you're not supposed to insult somebody to their face. But if you say no offense, now, no harm intended, right? You say something like that, all of a sudden you're allowed to. So right now I'm saying, we know we're not taking anything from training camp clips. Having said that, here's what I'm taking from training camp clips, right? Here's the overreaction, or here's the giant takeaway from, a 13-second clip of a one-on-one from training camp. And I picked just simply the most viral of the bunch, starting with Teteroa McMillan. 8th overall pick for the Carolina Panthers. He was running a one-on-one against Mike Jackson of the Carolina Panthers. Now, here's the I'll give you actually the breakdown. I'm actually watching the clip right now. You can go find it. It's all over social media.
And I'll link the clips that you're referencing in our YouTube chat, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe on YouTube so you can play along as well.
So Teteroa McMillan's a rookie. Mike Jackson is a veteran, signed a 2-year deal this offseason to remain with the Panthers, starting corner. Teteroa McMillan runs essentially an outside release go with a little stutter and go there just to keep the guy off balance. Does not create a ton of separation. Bryce Young throws it over the shoulder. Teteroa makes a nice catch going to the ground. Again, we're not supposed to take anything from training camp, but having said that, now I'm allowed to, right? It is what Teteroa McMillan was drafted to do. Be open even when he's not. It's not the greatest route in the world. He tries to stack him a bit, but it's not the greatest route in the world. He also is never going to be like a 4.340 guy who is simply, if I get a half step on you, I'm gone. You're never going to catch me. But what he brings to the table is he's just under 6'5". He's got long arms. He rebounds like a basketball player, and he's got hops like a volleyball player. All things that he actually was growing up. And he's open even when he's not. And these are the plays in training camp he needs to make when... Right, Bryce Young doesn't have options here. It's one-on-one. So he can't look at Teteroa McMillan not getting separation on Mike Jackson and say, bummer, let me check it down to Hunter Renfrow over the middle. Bummer, where's Chuba Hubbard in the flat? He can't do that. So he puts it up anyway, and he drops it over the top, and it's a beautiful catch. Thus, a little bit more confidence. Now, next time where Bryce Young is in that same situation, he might go, if that were name another receiver, if that were Jalen Coker, I might not throw it. But Teteroa has instilled confidence in me that he'll come down with it anyway. So let's give it a go. And if he keeps making those catches, he'll keep getting opportunity to win those battles. So and by the way, I think it's decent coverage by Mike Jackson, so I'm not even taking anything away from him as a defender and saying like, oh gosh, they better get a new starting corner. But I am saying that might be 1% of confidence more in Teteroa McMillan, the 50-50 guy, the jump ball guy. And by the way, he does get a step on him, so it's not a completely bad decision to throw it that way if you did it in a game, and it's a catch regardless. Next clip going viral. Let's talk about Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is, for some reason, the talk of the town with the Carolina Panthers. And this one is actually, I'm going to say it, it's I think a little overblown. So he runs, essentially a long whip route, for those of you that are aware. It's not even a slant. It's something more than, it's almost like a mini post. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's a slant. We'll give him slant on it. And then he slams on the brakes and he brings it back. So it's one of those, it's like an Iverson crossover route, right? You're running and you're trying to slam on the brakes, get the defensive guy to fly by, and go back the other way. He's doing this against Trevon Merrick, their big safety, right? The big $17 million a year safety. And it works, and Merrick goes flying by him, and it looks, like I said, very Iverson crossover-ish, right? If this were And One Mixtape Tour, the announcer would be going, oh, baby, he got him with a... He'd be doing that whole thing. It's a long developing route. He takes like 5 or 6 steps towards the slant. Now, if you can have that amount of time to throw the ball, if you can have that amount of time to set up your guy, great. But there's a reason Merrick was so confident committing to chasing him on the slant, because there has to be a point of no return. Right? In one-on-ones, there's no one rushing the quarterback. In one-on-ones, you can, do the left, right, left, left, right, left. I'm going this way, I'm back that way. No, I'm back this way, because there's no timer. But in a real game, if you take, 5 steps up, you plan on the outside, you cut, you take 5 steps towards the slant, defensive players are going to assume you're not going to slam on the brakes and go in the other direction because there's simply not enough time. So while it may look fantastic, I don't think this is a realistic route in most cases. unless you're, the backside or something like that. And you have to wait for Bryce to go through a primary read and a secondary read. Now he's coming back to you. That timing might be there. But in that case, right, you see the quarterback. It's Andy Dalton staring him down the whole way. It's the timing of it won't be the same. It'll be whenever he gets there. So I really like Hunter Renfrow. I think he's unbelievable at choice routes, option routes. But he kind of beat him on the original slant. I think in a game, he's just staying on that. He's not doing the big woo cut. Next one, let's go to Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette, everybody's favorite reclamation project, right? Rookie year didn't go the way everybody wanted it, and now everybody's looking for reasons to be excited by it. It's like the country song, right? The bones are good, right? You see the speed, you see the size, you're like, I get the maybe everything wasn't great, but the bones of this house are good. Just need to renovate it a bit. Well, the first one-on-one a couple of days ago, we're looking at yesterday's practice. The first one-on-one, according to Joe Person, who posted the video, covers the Panthers for The Athletic, was a South Carolina versus South Carolina matchup. Xavier Legette versus J.C. Horn. And Xavier Legette gave him the old stutter and go. Right? The fake hitch, and I'm taking off. The fake stop, and I'm taking off. Deep ball, caught over the shoulder. Awesome. I think this is good for Xavier Legette's confidence. I think this is good for the faith between quarterback and wide receiver. I think it's also important to mention that J.C. Horn is a stud who has no worries about making the roster and has an injury history. Because I'm watching it, and I don't see a lot of strain from J.C. Horn. We all know what somebody looks like when they're sprinting as hard as they can, right? We know what that form looks like. We know what that body lean looks like. Your chest isn't upright unless you're Michael Johnson in the 1996 Olympics. You're pushing forward. I don't see that from Horn. And when Xavier Legette makes the catch, you don't see a play on the ball at all. You don't see a bit of body language that says, oh, darn, right? There's no clapping of the hand. There's no, oh, come on. I don't think this was the A game from J.C. Horn, and that's why it's important to remember it's the first one-on-one. I think if this were 2/3 of the way through practice, I think if this were after they got, the oiled up a bit, right? They got that old Tin Man can of oil in all their joints. I think J.C. Horn might have played this one a bit differently. But instead, as somebody that's super secure, $25 million per year, like super duper A-OK in their roster spot, this rep didn't mean as much to him as it did to Xavier Legette. And finally, rookies are amongst the most popular on these little, hey, you're not supposed to overreact, but we're all going to overreact in training camp. Why? Well, it's all we've seen them in the NFL, right? We have nothing else to go off of. We saw Xavier Legette last year. We didn't see Trevor Etienne. And guess what? Trevor Etienne juked J.C. Horn. How about it? Rookie fourth-round pick running back gave him the old ooh-wee, stuck the left foot in the ground, cut back, and J.C. Horn on skates. It's an impressive move. Don't get me wrong. The only concern I have here is didn't see a ton of it from Etienne at Georgia. And there is something special about when the bullets aren't metaphorically live, some guys come alive. Right? When you know the defense can't really rock you, when you know the defense can just wrap you up, we used to call it thud, right? You can pop the pads a little bit, but if you go to the ground, you're getting yelled at. All of a sudden, there's some guys that are out there making highlight plays. Meanwhile, when the bullets are metaphorically live, when the hits are real, a little bit more timid. Maybe that cut that took a 1-2 becomes like a 1-2-3-4 because you want to make sure you're seeing what you're seeing. I've said this before. Etienne was an overdraft based on my running back rankings pre-draft. I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope he's, better than the guys drafted at the top for the Panthers' sake. But the explosiveness and move I'm seeing from Trevor Etienne, didn't see a ton of that at Georgia. There may be one game late in the CFP, but really there's not a ton of explosion on his tape. Even though he did run fast at the combine. But again, can't get hit at the combine. There's guys like that all over football's history. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying that's what I'm getting feelings of. Can catch, though, so get him in space could help. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tough day for J.C. Horn and just viral clips yesterday. But, he can go cry into his Scrooge McDuck piles of money when he's taking a dive. That was overreactions, but we said they're overreactions, so it's okay, of Panthers training camp clips. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have Cop or Drop, and we'll hear from potentially a record-breaking wide receiver in the ACC. Stick around.
How about a little taste of NFL football? The Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Herbert throws it in the air. Catch made. McConkey takes it all the way for the touchdown. 86 yards.
Detroit.
Jamison Williams gets a block, breaks a tackle 20, staggers to the 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Detroit!
And Thursday night at 8 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry. In the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Cop or Drop coming up here. But I'm going to say something first, just because I'm annoyingly paying attention to all the updates out of NFL training camps. First of all, I hope this is a place where we all know that I take injuries seriously and players' safety. I think I'm pretty progressive on that front. So I'm always in favor of everybody being as cautious as possible. This feels like the no offense thing. However, can we agree to players that the cart off the field is something you should use sparingly? Over the last 3 days, I've seen, Justin Fields got carted off with a lower body injury, and everybody thought it was an Achilles. Turns out he had a dislocated middle toe with no fractures. This is not an exaggeration. It was not a big toe, a dislocated middle toe. We've seen so many players get carted off, and the fan base immediately goes to, it's an ACL, it's devastating, it's awful, because that used to be the only time you got a cart. Other than that, you tried to, I don't want anybody to see me getting helped off, right? You limp your way to the training table. It's there, and I could go on. I'm not going to highlight everybody, but there's 5 or 6 of them already that have been carted off and then are back at practice the next day. That just seems, how can you be a modern gladiator when you're like, well, I stubbed my toe, thus I need an automobile to get me to the sideline of practice. I won't say who, but if you really did a bunch of things, you could figure it out. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. A player that I played with at some point in my career, because I don't know if they want this out there, a little familial kind of relationship thing. His dad was one of our coaches, was a coach on the team, I should say. And this player who went on to play in the NFL, okay, so played a decent amount of years in the NFL. He had super high arches on his foot. The joke was him standing flat-footed, you could look under his feet, between the pad of his front of his foot and the heel, you could see air. And he was playing in a game, and a gargantuan defensive lineman like straight heel right to the middle of his foot, stepped on his foot, and the super high arch flattened. And the middle part of his foot broke in a bunch of places. And the trainers start jogging out. And his dad, who was one of the coaches, said, you're not going to get him. He makes his way to the sideline. And everyone's like, ooh. Because this is one of the toughest people I ever met. And this guy's screaming in pain. Player stands up. And like, I don't even know. You ever seen the movie Men of Honor? You probably haven't. Cuba Gooding Jr., Robert De Niro. Really good movie. You should check it out.
One day you'll ask me if I've seen a movie, and I'll say yes.
You're darn right. Happy Gilmore 2.
I have seen
that. We did a
that
whole
one.
thing on it.
I've actually watched it a couple times.
But he likes, as if one of his legs weighed 2,000 pounds, just one step, made it to the sideline, and then immediately dad gives him a hug, lowers him to the ground, tells him he loves him, and he's so proud of him, and trainers can start looking at him. And I went like, that is bad A, if you know what I mean. Like, that is a tough dude. I just can't imagine that if, somebody were out there with a dislocated middle toe and they asked for the cart, I wouldn't be thinking that is the opposite of whatever all that respect I had for that guy. It just seems like it'd be a little different. But what do I know, right? Players are different now. There's a lot more money involved. Got to protect the investment. Just seems like there would be a lot of jokes at your expense if that happened. And it's happened a bunch where it starts with knees blown out, done for the year. And then it comes back the scans weren't as bad as they originally thought. And then it comes back he's probably gonna play in the first preseason game. And I'm like, what? All right, that's it for my old man rant. And always be cautious with injuries. Kids out there, take it as seriously as you can. Now let's jump into Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Now we turn things over to Max, our producer for the day. He lines up the topics. I tell you whether we're copping or dropping. You'll catch on.
All right, so first one, we will go, since football's coming back. I've got a little thing on college football here, particularly pertaining to a couple other teams, but also to UNC. So this is from Julian Edlow on X, does sports betting content for DraftKings. And he posted a few lopsided betting splits.
Okay.
For those who are unaware, that is when the number of bets on a certain side and the total amount of money on that bet there's a big disparity, right? So, for example, USF, 8.5-point underdog, 29% of the bets on that game are on USF, but 79% of the money. So that means what that means is the sharp money, the big bettors are taking that side. So where this pertains to UNC is he posted a couple of these week 1 games. USF, Baylor, Texas, all popular among the sharp bettors. But one of the most popular among sharp bettors is TCU. TCU is favored by 3 points. TCU -3 has just 39% of the bets, but 85% of the total handle, which is a massive split.
What is it, 39% of the bets?
39% of the bets, 85% of the money on TCU -3. Or at least this is at DraftKings, presumably. So I'm saying cop or drop TCU, 3-point favorite. Are you riding with the established team? Or are you ready to take a chance on Belichick week 1?
Okay, so here's first of all, that is a big split for those of you that follow gambling numbers.
That is a huge split.
So essentially the public is Joe Public, small bettor, is betting a lot on Bill Belichick, probably because it's the only thing they know about that. And they, I don't know, Patriot fans or something are just like, hey, that's our guy. Let's support him. I'll put a $5 bet on it. And then there are gigantic sharps, as you will, that are out there betting thousands of dollars at a time on TCU, basically saying the Belichick hype isn't there. I will tell you my gambling stretch. So I don't even know what I'm copping or dropping here. I've been thinking about betting. What's the saying that I'm copping or dropping?
TCU will defeat UNC by at least 3 points.
Gosh, that is so early to make that call. But I will. Here's my concern. I think UNC's early season could be underwhelming because there is so much new. every coach, 70-something players are brand new to UNC. 40-something transfers, 30 roughly incoming freshmen. They have to iron out roles. They have to iron out responsibilities. I think they will be, especially knowing the coaches they have on the sideline and the histories and experience they have, they will be significantly better Week 10 than they will be Week 1. So with all that being said, you're asking me about Week 1. As of right now, and I reserve the right to change it, we'll make our picks week of the game officially. I think I would lean TCU on this.
Yeah, especially if that level of action continues, that line is probably going to move to maybe TCU -4 or 5. Like, if it ends up stretching, it's definitely more of a decision. But
I'm not sure we can look at these lines as we do normal lines because the books just have to account for the fame of Bill Belichick. And, I think, last I checked, and it had been a week or two, their over-under in wins and losses was 7.5. I think the better number for Belichick and UNC is probably 6.5. But they just know 6.5, 7.5. Who cares? The Belichick fans are betting the over, so if they can get one more game in there, they're doing it. It's not as true a reading as we get on other opportunities because of Bill Belichick's fame.
And before we move on to the next one, I just want to mention the biggest split I see on here from this post from Julian Edlow. Southern Miss, 12.5-point underdogs. If you just took that with the points plus 12.5, 22% of the bets, 97%
what
of
game
the
is
money.
That? Southern Miss?
Southern Miss. I'm not sure who they're playing because it just says Southern Miss plus 12.5, but very big split on that.
What was that
one,
again? I'm writing this down because I got to do some more investigation.
Southern Miss plus 12.5, 22% of the bets and 97% of the money wagered.
Wow.
Quite a split there.
But they're also, like, a Southern Miss game, as of right now, it's July 29th, might have, like, $78 bet on it. And 97% of it is one $75 bet.
That is something you have to keep in
There could
mind.
easily, 22% of the bets could be 1 or 2 out of 11. Could have been 11 bets. So, yeah, I don't think there's as much action on Southern Miss as there is on TCU UNC.
Yes, highly doubt it. All right, got that one. Let's move over to the NBA and a Wake Forest product in Chris Paul. So last week, CP3 decided to return to the LA Clippers in free agency, 1-year veteran minimum contract for his 21st NBA season. He said it was a no-brainer. He wanted to get back to the Clippers by any means necessary. So with the addition of Chris Paul, who's 40 years old, the Clippers are on track to be the oldest team in NBA history, weighted for playing time, at an average age of 33.2. So, all this to say, cop or drop. The old man Clippers, they're calling them the Unction, can make the conference finals next season.
Can? They can.
Well, anybody can.
They need... No, that's not true. That is not true. They need an insane amount of injury luck. And I'm not, like... Listen, I just brought up Chris Paul, 40, Brook Lopez, 37, Nicholas Batum, 36, Harden, 35, Kawhi, 34, but let's be real, his joints are somewhere in his 60s. Bradley Beal, 32. Like, they've got some old guys. It's a foolish hope that none of them will get hurt, right? And by the way, they will have vet days and load management and everything else. But the timing of it, right? As long as Harden and Chris Paul aren't hurt at the same time, right? As long as Beal and Kawhi aren't missing time at the same time, you can kind of escape some of this. If that's happening, you can kind of be all right. So they need some injury luck, but they can. So I'll cop that they can. I think Chris Paul shows like lifestyle and happiness away from the game over making the biggest impact on a team when he chose the Clippers. I think his family's still like kind of headquartered in LA from his long time with the Clippers, kids and everything. He obviously knows the owner, knows all that kind of stuff. So there's some happiness stuff. But if he was going to go to the team that would make the most, where he could have the biggest impact on winning, I think there's a lot of other places he could have gone because, Brook Lopez doesn't need to watch and learn from Chris Paul's example to be a pro, right? Brook Lopez has a championship ring of his own, and he's, been an all-star. I think he might be the leading scorer like in Nets history. So there's those lessons don't have to be learned as much as, say, if Chris Paul joined a younger team. And we've seen him do that thing, right? When he went to the Suns, they leveled up like Devin Booker became a much more veteran-seeming player. When he went to the Thunder, I think he should take a lot of credit for SGA's glow-up. When he went to the Spurs, right, obviously his impact on Wemby is going to be felt for years and years. I don't know, like, who's the guy that he impacts on the Clippers? There's not a lot of young guys out there. He's going to finally become the veteran leader for James Harden. It sounds weird.
I mean, they just it's like a Wake Forest team up too, because they also acquired John Collins this offseason.
Even John Collins,
he's 27, I think.
Yeah,
so
even John Collins, he's a little bit younger. He's been through some stuff, man. Those years with the Hawks, he's bounced around. Like he's not sitting around hoping somebody teaches him how to be a pro or shows him how to prepare for games. Like he's a dude.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best for them. I'm a big Chris Paul fan.
So am I.
I went to the same middle school and high school as Chris Paul, so hoping for the best for
the
them.
The legendary 61.
Yes.
If you don't know the story of Chris Paul's 61-point game in high school, look it up. I don't have time to tell you, but it's one of the coolest stories in sports history.
Yes, fantastic story. So best of luck to the Clippers. I think they can do it if they stay healthy, like you said, but that is a bit of a stretch. Let's go over to baseball here. Some sad news from baseball last night. Hall of Fame second baseman Ryne Sandberg passed away at the age of 65 after a battle with cancer. The man known as Rhino, he was the 1984 NL MVP, had 10 consecutive All-Star appearances from 1984 to 1993, 9 Gold Gloves, 7 Silver Sluggers, and was also the 1990 Home Run Derby champion. For those of you who know, potentially the worst home run derby of all time. Only 5 total home runs hit in the entire thing, and Ryne Sandberg had 3 of them. It was at Wrigley Field. Did it for the home fans. All this to say, Copper Drop, Ryne Sandberg, best second baseman of all time.
Ooh, best second baseman of all time. I'm going to cheat here and bring up maybe a list because I don't. All right, let me see what we got here. Roger Hornsby played second base. Nap LaJoy. I read by the way, it is ridiculous. If you bring up whatever JAWS is, JAWS, it's an advanced statistic that's supposed to account for Hall of Fame eligibility and everything. The seventh best of all time is Robinson Cano. That feels just icky. Let's see where Sandberg falls. He is 11th. I don't think he's the best ever, but I hate that you made me say that on this particular moment because we should just be celebrating him, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Rod Carew seems to be up there. Jackie Robinson at times played second base.
Yeah,
that guy
Roberto Alomar.
Roberto Alomar, a little bit below. Craig Biggio, a little bit below. Jose Altuve climbing up.
I personally place Sandberg over pretty much all these guys, but
I think
if you want to say he's not the best of all time,
probably Hornsby. I mean, I read a book on Wahoo Sam Crawford, who is a guy from like the turn of the century for the Tigers. Really good book, and you learn about some of these guys from like the early 1900s. So there's a few up there, but it's just one book's worth of knowledge. But yeah, like Hornsby. There's a couple others. Carew. Sandberg's a beast though, and actually, here's the lesson from Ryne Sandberg for like the trivial sports part of this. Obviously, he battled like a awful disease. Cancer's the worst. Taken way, way, way too early. And the serious side of it is that. But the lesson for the sports side of it is, if there's obviously a Hall of Famer, and Ryne Sandberg was, don't make him wait. Don't play the games. He can't. If they're obvious, like if they're an obvious Hall of Famer, I'm fine. Like I'm fine with being difficult on Hall of Famers, and you want to have a high threshold for them to get in and everything else. But Ryne Sandberg went in I think 2005 on his third year on the ballot, and he barely squeaked in. You needed 75%. I think he was like 77, maybe not even, maybe 75 and change. And it felt like he could be a dude that they'd be like, we'll put him in, but we'll put him in on the 9th ballot. Then you realize like he got 20 years of being a Hall of Famer and was taken from us way too early. Again, once you know you're going to put him in eventually, I'm fine with gatekeeping a bit on first ballot because I do think first ballot is like a thing. But if they're an obvious Hall of Famer, put him in second. right? Like once they're not in that inner circle of first ballot Hall of Famers, if you don't think they're worthy of that, put them in second because you never know, right? You don't know how long they're going to be around, and you want them to be able to enjoy their legacy and their families to enjoy their legacy. There's something nice, but also a little bummer-ish when somebody goes in posthumously, because it's like, I'm glad their family got that moment, but it's still a bummer they never got that moment. So, Sandberg's a good one there. He got 20 years of being a Hall of Famer, which is always good.
Just out of respect, we'll consider that a cop for him. Greatest second baseman of all time. Well, all right, we'll get to one more quickly here. And actually, I'll just give you a choice. We'll say baseball or football.
Oh, for the last one. I
Just to
thought
pick
you were making
No, that's not the question. Just
I was like, I'm team football, but I feel like I'm going to upset a lot of Durham Bulls fans out there.
Yeah, just which one we're going to pick.
Football. We'll go football.
We'll go football? Okay. So, in a recent interview with CBS Sports' Pete Prisco, Heisman winner, two-way phenom Travis Hunter has nicknamed himself the Unicorn. While it may be an apt name if he continues to play well on both sides of the ball, many people, myself included, believe nicknames must be given, not invented yourself, but I'll leave it up to you. Cop or drop, you can make up your own nickname.
Drop. If you're making up your own nickname, it makes you feel like you don't have friends. And by the way, I don't know if Travis Hunter does or not. I don't know his personal life, but I do know you can't give yourself your own nickname, especially one as unoriginal as Unicorn. Wasn't that Kristaps Porzingis? And then wasn't that also 9 other dudes in the NBA? Any 7-footer that shot threes was called a unicorn for a long time. Unicorn, no, it's got to be something better than that. You know what I love? I love the ones that almost don't make sense but fit perfectly. Terrence Knighton, who is the defensive line coach for Florida State now. He is a former NFL defensive lineman. He played for the Broncos. His nickname, he's a big dude now, right? 300-something pounds. He was an interior defensive lineman. His nickname, Pot Roast. That's perfect. Pot Roast. You know how he got it? They were on a away trip. He got on the plane. Everybody's asleep. They're flying back. He was a little hungry. They came around, said, what would you like, the salmon or the pot roast? He doesn't like fish. He goes, all right, I'll take the pot roast. The stewardess forgot who ordered the pot roast, right? The flight attendant, I guess. I want to make sure I say that correctly. Forgot who ordered the pot roast, so now he's going like, pot roast up here, pot roast. Wakes up a bunch of his teammates because they're all asleep, yelling pot roast. Boom. His name is Pot Roast forever. Has nothing to do with the fact that he's 300 and something pounds and gigantic and probably loves crushing a little pot roast, but it fits perfectly. Nicknames have to be assigned from someone else. You can't pick your own. It'd be too cool if you picked your own. Another good one, I even forget his name now. Another defensive tackle, I believe might have even played for the Broncos. Snacks. That's a fantastic nickname for a big dude. I guarantee you he didn't assign it. I also like the reverse. Like the biggest friend you have, call him Tiny.
Slim.
Yeah, Slim's a good one. Tiny's a good one. I like those also. So what's the opposite of versatile? That should be Travis Hunter's nickname.
His new nickname is useless.
Yeah, something like not Swiss Army knife, like steak knife. It's one thing. All you do is cut steak. We don't use it for anything else. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of wide receivers, speaking of kind of undersized wide receivers, because Travis Hunter is catching a lot of heat for how skinny he looks without wearing pads. Everyone's saying, imagine this guy trying to tackle Derrick Henry. Well, Lewis Bond of Boston College, also a bit undersized, but also effective. He is knocking on the door. If he has a big season this year for Boston College, just a little bit better than last year's season, so if he improves, he could be the all-time leading pass catcher in receptions in Boston College history. We caught up with him at ACC Media Day last week. Haven't gotten a chance to play the conversation yet, so we thought we'd do that for you now. Here's Lewis Bond of Boston College. Do we have Lewis Bond of Boston College? Max is working hard back there. I see the gears cranking. Smoke is coming out of his ears. The file may be lost.
Lewis Bond, he just doesn't want to talk right now.
Doesn't want to talk. All right.
Actually, hold on. I think we do have this audio. We just may not be able to have the corresponding video. You may not be able to see Tim's beautiful face down there in the lobby of the Westin in Charlotte.
Trust me, nobody will complain about that. But it is a good time to take a moment to say subscribe to our social media and our YouTube, where you can see things like our live stream and the opposite of beautiful, right? So you can nickname me Beautiful because it's the opposite of, right? And the opposite. They're good nicknames. We'll give it another 10 seconds here, and if not, we're just going to move on.
Yes, we do.
All right.
We do have the sound.
We have Lewis Bond. So with a little peeking behind the curtain, and now you know how things work back here. Here's Lewis Bond, Boston College wide receiver at ACC Media Day last week. Welcome back into 99.9 The Fan, The Drive with Tim Donnelly from live here at ACC Media Day, ACC Kickoff. We're joined by a member of the Boston College football team, redshirt junior wide receiver Lewis Bond. Lewis, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
We'll start with, what kind of travel partner is Bill O'Brien? Now that you guys are down here in the South, are you grabbing meals on the plane? What kind of you don't know someone until you travel with them?
And he was rather quiet. He was rather quiet, but we had a good meal on the plane. So it was my first time on a PJ. I was more so experienced than myself. So I think he's a cool person to travel with. We don't talk too much.
Well, I mean, if the first time you're on a private jet, which is, I assume, what PJ meant there this morning.
Yeah.
All right. Take us through that experience. I mean, that's what dreams are made of.
Yeah, it was, but it was a 5 a.m. workup, so I had to be up at 4 to get ready. That part wasn't fun, but getting on the PJ was cool. It was still shaked. It still was the same as a plane after the first 5 minutes where you but after that, it was a plane.
All right.
Smooth landing. It was a very smooth landing.
Well, shout out to the pilots. By the way, honorable mention all ACC last season, 75 catches. Do you know what that number kind of simplifies for you going into this year?
That would put me number one all time at BC. It's something that I was thinking about a lot, but I'm just focused on the work that comes before getting that accolade. So it's a big accomplishment. A lot of great receivers came here before me. Zay being the biggest one probably, but there's a lot of good receivers. So it'll be an honor to overtake Zay. Especially, I'm gonna talk some stuff if I do. He not into that.
Now, obviously, Zay Flowers, who you're mentioning there,
Zay
remember
Flowers.
the Baltimore Ravens first-round pick.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with Zay to where, that trash talk may be beginning at some point?
Yeah, Zay was, I would say, my big brother when I got here. First 3 years of college, he kind of got me through. He kind of kept me here, got me through not playing. It's kind of tough when you get to college and you're not playing, but he got me through. He was like a big brother. Took care of me until he left, and then I took over the reins.
All right. We're talking with Lewis Bond, Boston College, redshirt junior wide receiver. Obviously, part of the story is things like that, right? Pursuing records. Another one for this year is changing over the quarterback, right? Grayson James, Dylan Lonergan. What's it like as a guy that's expecting targets and deserving targets, working with different guys and trying to get on the same page with multiple quarterbacks?
My biggest thing was I know a lot of people are going to ask. My biggest thing was just get open. Like the quarterback going to throw you, whoever the quarterback, they decide to play a quarterback, he going to get you the ball if you get open. So I've been more so focused on getting as open as I can be. If I'm wide open, nobody's 5 yards around from me. It's hard for a quarterback to miss. So I've been more so focused on my responsibilities than who's throwing the ball. Both guys I feel like are great quarterbacks. Both deserve to start. It's just going to be a great competition in camp to see who they decide picks plays.
I wouldn't ask you to say your favorite who you think is going to win, but can you tell maybe how they're similar or different as far as style of play or different aspects they bring?
I think both have a big arm. Both can throw any throw in the playbook. Dylan's probably a tad bit more mobile, but I think Gray's more experienced. So they both bring different things, but they both have big arms. They both can deliver the ball, and that's the biggest thing as a quarterback to me. Get me the ball,
Which, spoken like a true wide receiver, you need to be a little selfish or to play that position, right?
Yeah, a little. I think you do because it's a lot that goes into getting the ball. You got to rely on the offensive line. We got a great offensive line, so it's not that hard. But you got to rely on the offensive line. You got to rely on the quarterback. You got to rely on your other receivers to get you open. Sometimes you got to be the guy that gets them open. It's a lot of trust, so sometimes you do have to be selfish. Sometimes you have to okay, this is my play, so this is the play that I'm supposed to get the ball. You want everything to go right. You got to be selfish. You got to demand excellence from your teammates because you probably get 7, 8 catches a game. You got to make those count, so it's not a lot. It's not like running back where you get the ball and hand it to you. It's more. It's
7-8
more,
catches.
yeah.
That's a healthy number right there. Like how you threw that one out there. We're talking with Lewis Bond, member of Boston College football team here at ACC Kickoff. I'm sure you've heard it. Your old teammate, quarterback Thomas Castellanos. I have a quote here. I'll read it for you. Again, I'm sure you've heard it. But for those of you that haven't, from Castellanos, who's now a member of Florida State, I feel like I tore the AC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. Made those comments to On3. As somebody that was playing with him for the last 2 years, how do you react to a statement like that?
I wish nothing but the best for Tommy. I think we got talent on the team, so I don't know what that was all about, but I think we're a talented group. I'm excited to prove him and everybody else wrong about the talent on the team, I guess. I guess you could say that.
In this transfer world, when something like that happens, and now he's elsewhere in the conference, right? He's, ACC Kickoff. He's on another ACC team. How difficult is it to go from kind of friend to competitor?
He made it easy. He made it easy to go from friend to enemy because he dissed us. But it's good to see him still in the conference. Dream story. We see each other in the championship maybe, but it's not hard. We don't play them, so it won't be that difficult. He did make it easier.
Looking at a couple of your teammates from last year, Donovan Ezaraku, guy we've talked to at events like this, edge, Ozzie Trapillo, offensive tackle, couple of second-round picks. If you're projecting what some guys from your trenches are going to do at the next level, how excited are you to watch them in the league?
I'm hoping they kill it. I got Don for defensive rookie of the year. Ozzie should have a great year. He's playing for my Bears, so that's good. Chicago guy myself. And Drew's on a good team, good squad. They just won a Super Bowl, so looks good for all of them. Kai also with the Detroit Lions. He got an opportunity to do some good things. I'm excited to see all my former teammates excel at the next level.
All right, have a little fun with this last question here, okay?
Okay.
You remember a couple of months ago, I think it was, the viral question about could 100 dudes win a fight against a gorilla?
Yeah.
All right, well, you get to pick. It's going to be you, 3 teammates, and then everybody else is just random people from the street, right, from just you passers-by. What 3 teammates in this battle against the gorilla are you grabbing?
I got me, Ty Clemens, a defensive lineman. Let's see. I'm going to go DB.
You got 2 more because you plus 3 teammates.
3, okay. Me, Ty Clemens, Seth McConnell, and then Q Hutchins, all big guys, all my defensive linemen.
All right, you go in size and aggression, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, we'll see. Actually, we won't see on that one. We will see how it goes this football season. We won't see how it goes against the gorilla. Lewis, we appreciate it. Good luck this season.
Thank y'all.
Once again, that is Lewis Bond, wide receiver for Boston College. That is a decent question. We asked the gorilla question to a couple guys on BC. Nobody gave us multiple positions. Nobody said like 1 D lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 receiver. If you picked defensive line, you went all defensive line. If you picked running back, you went all running back. O-line, you went all O-line. Does raise the question, like, in those types of situations, which position do you want the most? O-line for probably a little bit more girth, a little bit more weight, a little bit more mass. D-line, maybe a little bit more athleticism. You want speed? I don't know. I've overthought it too much already. We have a feedback frenzy coming up next, so don't go anywhere. The Drive, stick around.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with that high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Here's the thing. Your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unspoken unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for a limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For the remaining few minutes of the hour, I wanted to hear from you. We didn't get a chance to do this as much last week because we were on the move. We were at Durham Bulls. We were at the ACC kickoff. And I want to make sure that we are always encouraging you to leave comments on our YouTube, to engage in our content, because I want you to be a part of the show. It's something that we have the ability to with technology. So continue to subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it if you haven't done so already. Follow us on all social medias. Usually just search for 99.9 The Fan. It's that easy. And our producers occasionally do what we call a feedback frenzy. They go through all of the comments. They pick the ones they like the best. They bring them on the show, and we respond. So you just might hear something you type online right here live on air. Max, what'd you grab for us today?
All right, so this first one is going to be from a conversation we had yesterday about Princely Umanmielen being a good fit for the Panthers. This commenter, Hand Tattoos 6901, said, "You called him a one-trick pony," which is funny because Princely was asked about being a one-trick pony before doing some of his post-draft interviews. And I remember him saying something to the effect of, "You say I only have one move. I say I only needed one move to win."
I've referenced that quote a billion times. But that little different in what I was calling him a one-trick pony on and what he was being asked about being a one-trick pony on. I was saying he was a one-trick pony as a pass rusher, right? I don't think he, at this point in his career, and he has the opportunity to get better, has all the physical ability. I don't think he's a great run stopper. I don't think he's a great edge setter, meaning, keeping contained. I think he's great at getting to the quarterback. The question you're referring to was asked about being a one-trick pony within his edge rushing, because for most in college he just uses a speed rush, right? He just tries to beat his guy to the edge, bend with athleticism, get after the quarterback that way. And his response was about, I'm not just a speed rusher, I can hand fight, I can rip, I can spin, I can do all of these pass rush move, bull rush, I can do all of these pass rush moves. It's just in college I didn't need to, because I could almost always win with speed against college tackles. So his response wasn't exactly to what I was saying, but I want to be clear here. That's one of the comments I love the most.
I thought that was just such a cool quote.
Every negative about him, he turns into I'm just that darn good, which is the confidence I want. That's what that whole segment yesterday was about. I want that kind of confidence from my edge rushers. My teammate didn't have a bad practice. He was just trying to stop me, and I'm that darn good. It's not that I don't have pass rush moves. It's that I don't need them because I'm that darn good. I was such a great pick in the 3rd round because I'm that darn good. That's what I want from my edge rushers. I'm not complaining about Princely at all.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. This one from that same video is from Word Up 13. He said, let's see what kind of reports come out with the pads on, and he has been hit for a month. Being undersized normally doesn't show up when you're running around in shorts. Confidence might slow down when grown man strength hits him. I hope it doesn't fade, but just highlighting no pads allows undersized speed guys to show out.
A few things on that. We talked about that with a running back earlier in Trevor Etienne, right? Certain guys, if they change when the bullets are metaphorically live, when the hitting is real, that's an issue. Few things though. One, I don't anticipate him being out there every play, right? I think he's a guy that's going to be on the sideline until a pass rushing down takes place, checks into the game. If he gets popped, go to the sideline, right? Get your rest. Secondly, this is going to sound real ridiculous. A lot of times on the edge, it's not like if you're on the interior, that's a car crash every play. Guards and defensive tackles, boom. A lot of tackles and edge rushers, particularly the speed guys that line up wide, 2-point stance, meaning no hand on the ground, upright. There's a lot of hand fighting there, right? There's a lot of technique. There's a lot of almost like judo. Now, once you get to the tackle, once you get to the point of impact, then yeah, go ahead. But I don't think he's going to be in like the car crash every play NFL early on with his role. Once he becomes more of a run stopper, then you get more of that. So, again, I'm not saying he's 100% going to have 10 sacks. I'm saying I want to buy stock in this guy because I think there's a good chance the price is going to go up.
And just his confidence, it's easy to get behind. So definitely. Let's go to it. This is a different Panthers conversation. We were talking about the wide receiver room yesterday, who was potentially going to make the roster. Are all 7 of the kind of main receivers that everyone's looking at, will they be on the roster? This comment was from Samuel Cahoon, 6199. He said, are we sure Hunter Renfrow isn't the best wide receiver on the team, y'all? If he's back to form, then he is.
Gosh, you better hope not. Gosh, you better hope not. And by the way, I'm a huge Hunter Renfrow fan. I think he's really good. I think his story is awesome. I think his technique is bananas.
Just any guy off the street, you really don't want to be your best receiver, probably.
You drafted somebody 8th overall who's 6'4 plus and had a 300-yard game or whatever it was. Like if Hunter Renfrow is your best wide receiver, you completely swung and missed on 2 first-round picks in back-to-back years. I think Hunter Renfrow can be an asset to the team without rushing to ridiculous statements like he's the best wide receiver on the team. But I do appreciate you throwing it out there. We like all feedback.
Oh yeah. We'll go and we'll do one more here as we're getting close to the top of the hour. This will be on the Carolina Hurricanes. It was right after the news broke. Jackson Blake signed the 8-year extension to stay with the team, so that doesn't even kick in for another year. So 9 years of team control for the Hurricanes with Jackson Blake. This comment from Lion 247 said, Blake is officially on my untradeable list. I had him packaged up for Jason Robertson. What this signing does mean is that Bradley Nadeau is 100% going to be traded.
I don't know if it's 100%, but it's possible, right? You don't trade away guys that are very obviously necessary in your future, and he's not necessary. The Jason Robertson thing is, I'm on the record. I love the guy, right? He was my pie in the sky choice at the beginning of the offseason. Didn't happen, and the Canes did well for themselves anyway. I think if that's still possible, if that, like, I guess he's asking for just the moon and the stars, pun intended, from Dallas. So maybe they have to move on. They've been clearing space for what seems like forever. I think it'd have to go pretty sideways at this point in Dallas for him to become like realistically available. But if it does, there's very little, I wouldn't say, like within reason, that isn't willing to be included in that deal.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'd still be willing to make that move. I won't say he's 100% going to get traded though. Like, especially with all the potential NATO has, like some injuries happen all of a sudden. You know, some roster spots open up, and it's good to have that guy on your team, ready and available, rather than unless again, you know, if there's a piece of the caliber of someone like Robertson that you could trade him for, obviously, again, you'll make the move. But 100% does seem a bit
100% is
overconfident that he'll be moved.
Even though at some point,
yeah,
some wing will not, like, you're not going to keep them all forever. So if Nadeau becomes so good that he's undeniable, you're going to have extra wing, right? You're going to have an extra player. And you can either just live with depth, not the end of the world, right? If you can bring a legit stud off the bench when someone gets hurt, that's fantastic. Or you cash in that chip and you go get something else. We're not super far away from guys like Chatfield and Gostisbehere, their contracts being up. Now, I hope you keep especially Chatty around. He just got married, by the way, and Slavin was his best man, so he's entrenched in the culture of the team and the players and the leaders.
That's a team right there.
But, you know, if you are looking for a defenseman in the not super near future, but kind of near future, it's nice to have trade chips and picks and everything. And you can always use a second-line center. So if Nadeau becomes a part of a package that brings back a second-line center at the deadline, I still don't think that means at this point you were right to say he's 100% done, but it's possible. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a feedback frenzy. A little quick one there. We might do it again later this week because we want to keep encouraging everybody to follow on YouTube, subscribe, 99.9 The Fan, comment. You might just hear about it right here on air. We have the starting five coming up next, including the NFL's latest. Stick around.
How about a little taste of NFL football? The Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Herbert throws it in the air. Catch made. McConkey takes it all the way for the touchdown. 86 yards.
Detroit.
Jamison Williams gets a block, breaks a tackle, 20, staggers to the 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Detroit!
And Thursday night at 8 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Another rough afternoon of heat.
An early evening shower or storm can't be ruled out, 76 the low. Another heat advisory for your Wednesday. It'll be a hot day with a high at 96 with a 30 to 40% chance for storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones down 204 points to 44,632.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. And at 5 o'clock every weekday, it is time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Latest news out of NFL training camps across the country. It feels so weird not having any kind of drama or anything out of the Carolina Panthers. There's a couple guys maybe injured that they're easing back in or whatever. But for the most part, you look elsewhere for the dysfunction this NFL training camp, which is a nice little breath of fresh air. The Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin, still holding out. And I'm actually there's a definite timeline to the NFL when you hold out. At first, when you hold out, everybody's team player, right? Especially when it's someone like Terry McLaurin that is so beloved by the franchise. But the longer you hold out, you see the public opinion switch to now you're being greedy, right? Terry McLaurin is actually losing some of the PR battle. This is a dude that put up 1,000 yards every year with, the misfit island quarterbacks throwing him the ball. He finally has a good situation, 13 touchdowns, whatever it was last year, tries to cash in, and everyone's now going wait a second, how much are you asking for? It's almost like Terry McLaurin wants back hazard pay. Hey, I had a good year this past year. We had a functional franchise, and that showed me how awful it was the first 5 years of my career, however long it was, 6 years. And now I want to be paid for pain and suffering.
Retribution.
From those first couple of years.
I demand satisfaction.
The reports out there are he wants $33 million or more per year. That puts him in top 5 amongst – that's more than Garrett Wilson just got on an extension that doesn't even kick in for a couple of years for Garrett Wilson. That is aggressive. If he's asking for $28 million, I think everybody's on his team.
Yeah, 33, that's like Justin Jefferson money.
Yeah. And you're making us be honest with you and say, you're not Justin Jefferson. Trey Hendrickson's still not practicing for the Bengals. This one makes so unbelievably little sense to me.
He's I think the exception to your rule earlier, whereas the public perception changes. That's unless it's with the Bengals, and then everyone just is what are they doing?
I think it's slower with the Bengals. About a week from now, if they go to a preseason game, he's not on that sideline in a hoodie, right? Not playing, but not part of the squad. I think suddenly people are going to start going take the money, man. And they're getting closer, I guess, on guaranteed money is the big problem. Here's the part that confuses me. Their defense was awful last year. Their offense was really good, and they missed the playoffs. You can't get worse on defense when that is what you're coming. There is a blinking neon Las Vegas style sign pointing at your defense going, fix this, and all you did was pay everybody on your offense. Hendrickson is necessary. They did figure it out with Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick. Took them a while. They figured that out, so maybe Hendrickson is next. But they need him out there. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I get really, really frustrated when athletes, and I hate to be this guy because who knows how it's going to be until you're in the moment. What's the difference between $30 and $33 million a year? Right? What store are you walking in and you can't buy what you want with $30 million a year that you can buy with $33 million a year? Right? I know it's not that simple, but it seems that simple. Hendrickson hasn't been generationally paid yet. his contemporaries, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, they're on like their second forget you money contract. He hasn't really had one yet because he started his career super slow. So I get his holdout a little bit. We'll run through some injury stuff quickly. Matt Stafford, week to week with a back injury. He's really important to the Rams. If his availability is limited, I think that changes that division a bit. Joe Mixon dealing with a foot injury. He's going to be out for a while. Nick Chubb, the backup there. They've got a weird running back room up there with the Houston Texans. Woody Marks, a 4th-round pick, I think, out of USC in the mix. But Mixon's still dealing with that injury. Who knows how long it's going to take? Ankle injury. And then Kenny Pickett, hamstring. The Browns have to be sitting around like, this is why we have 4 quarterbacks. We don't have to worry. Yeah, another one could get hurt. We're still good.
It's genius.
They got Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett gets hurt. It's like, yeah, all right. We'll split the reps 3 ways rather than 4. In all seriousness, I think Pickett was probably the best chance to start week 1. Now I think it might fall on Flacco. Rookies, I don't know, do you start a 4th round or a 3rd round rookie, whatever Gabriel is, a 5th or 6th, whatever Shedeur Sanders is? That's unusual. So Joey Flacco, shout out to the Delaware Blue Hens. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Movement on that offensive line this week because of the injuries. If there's some growing pains going on, Lopez is going to take a shot to the end zone, lofts one to the corner, and the ball is caught. Is he in the end zone? Yes, touchdown, Jeremiah Webb.
That was Gio Lopez at South Alabama. Nice pull on the highlight. Gio Lopez, I was going to say starting quarterback for UNC, but I can't say that yet. They haven't made it official. Do you know what is in the era of NIL and in the era of revenue share and in the era where we at least have some general idea of how much guys are making? I think coaches should understand that we're not dumb. And the pros, they kind of do, right? There's no facade being painted that, like, I don't know, Brock Purdy's not the starter of San Fran because he's making $40 million a year. So, you follow the dollars, and that's the starter. The reports are that Gio Lopez in the transfer portal made like $2 million. Yet UNC hasn't named him the starter yet. It's competition. Now, unless, some of those other – I bet you Bryce Baker's making a good amount. I don't know if he's making $2 million. One of the top recruits. But, I never got coaches, once you know, and I believe UNC knows Gio Lopez is going to be your starter. Once you know who your starter is going to be, I never got the slow playing. I never got we're going to let the competition continue to play out. If it's a true competition, I take everything I'm saying back. But if when you shut the door and you're talking just coaches, you're building an offense around what Gio Lopez can do, let him live in it for a bit. Let him exist there for a little while. It's actually a mistake, I believe, that Mac Brown made last year. Because we talked to Mac Brown a whole bunch of times leading up to game 1. And it was Max Johnson, and it was Connor Harrell, and it was Max Johnson, and it was Connor Harrell. And there was no rhyme or like, they're both going to play week 1 is what we were told. Then they came out, and Max Johnson wasn't even playing particularly well, and they weren't going to Connor Harrell. Now, Johnson ended up getting hurt, so they were forced to Connor Harrell. But it was very obvious, like, they had a number 1, and they just never let him own it, right? They never let him talk to the media or exist in a world where it was his offense and he got to grab hold of it. And I think it's important, right? I think it's important to let a starting quarterback at a power conference level wrap their head around it for a little bit publicly. Even if they know behind closed doors, let everybody figure it out. Let them answer those questions. Basically what I'm saying is, Bill, Stevie, offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, if you know, let us know. And if you want to break the news right here on 99.9 The Fan, we'll give you the phone number. We'd love to have you on. then pass the phone to Gio Lopez. We'll talk to him about it. We'll let him start puffing his chest up as the leader of your offense. But I think it's important for a confidence standpoint that your quarterback knows you're fully behind him and not, 51% him, 49% the other guy. Like, you don't want it to be that. We'll go full. It's a criminal proceeding, not civil trial. Beyond reasonable doubt, they are the starter, not just more often than, or more likely than not. I forget the official words. Shouldn't have gone to that analogy. That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3. Ike Ekwonu had a good day the past couple of days. Left tackle for the Carolina Panthers. You may be saying, wait a second, they've only been in pads like one day. They're not even in pads today. How is the offensive tackle having a good day? Especially because I saw him getting beat by Princely Umanmielen in clips a few practices. Well, it's because other tackles are getting paid. And you know, the reason why the Players Association, the union, gets so excited is because when somebody resets the market or when somebody gets a new gigantic contract, that means everybody at that position is getting paid more. Rashawn Slater reset the market. Rashawn Slater, tackle for the Chargers, who, by the way, the Chargers play in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, the first preseason game. I passed it along earlier that head coach of the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, said Trey Lance is going to be starting. Their stud high-pick rookies are going to be playing. They say Omarion Hampton's going to be playing. He's their first-round pick, running back out of UNC. Trey Harris, their second-round pick, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Keandre Lambert-Smith, I think he played for Auburn last year, started his career with Penn State. Wide receiver. Like, these are guys that could be part of the offense. They're going to be playing in the Hall of Fame game. So at least we'll get a look at some good guys. I doubt we'll see Rashawn Slater. Too valuable. 4 years, $114 million, $92 million guaranteed. He is the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history on a per-year basis. Now, if I'm Ike Ekwonu, that's nice. That raises, like, the high water mark for tackles. By the way, Ike could sign a contract now. Could also, next offseason, sign the extension. But that's not the one that gets me super excited. The one that gets me super excited is the Colts giving Bernhard Raimann 4 years, $100 million. Because that's more of like the generic starting tackle money. And Ike Ekwonu, up until now, has shown flashes of being very good. Also, he's had some lows throughout the years he's been a starter on a rookie contract with the Panthers after being a top pick. I don't know if he's ever going to get to the point where his agent walks in and puts Rashawn Slater's contract on the table and says, we want that. But I think with a solid season, you could walk in and put Bernhard Raimann's contract on the table and say, we want that. And that's $25 million a year. That's J.C. Horn money. That's really, really high. And that means the Panthers need to be preparing to have that within their cap situation without putting them in really bad spots. I promise you, although it doesn't always seem like it, if you get yourself in really bad cap spots for not generational players, it will come back to bite you. If it's generational players, it's worth it. But, like, look at where the Saints are salary cap-wise right now. That's years of paying players and kicking it into the future. More void years. You could do that if you're the Panthers, but you don't want to do that. You want to save that for the generational guys. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. McCall 7 of 12, 120, a touchdown, an interception, and around the corner goes Hollywood Smothers. 10-5, first and goal, Wolfpack.
The Shrine Bowl is one of the end-of-the-year All-Star games for college football. Shout out to Evan Galko, guy I kind of know, who's one of their evaluators. But they put out something called the Shrine Bowl 1000. Shrine Bowl 1000 is like basically the world's largest watch list for good players in college football. And I like to use it as kind of a test of like overall roster talent, maybe a little bit more depth, because we get things like, for tight ends, the Mackey Award watch list. We get things like all ACC lists. But really those are judging like how many studs do you have? And that's one way to judge a roster. Another way to judge a roster is, do you have a solid core of 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 dudes who can all be depended upon to do their job at a high level every game? Maybe not make the highlights. Maybe not, make the crazy plays that end up on SportsCenter or trending on Twitter, but they're gonna leave every game with something. And you could look into individual positions. You could look into units, how many on offense and defense. I like to look at it, how many players in the Shrine Bowl 1000 are just totally on your roster, right? Because let's say you look at Duke versus NC State's roster. We'll use Duke and State, right? Just as local examples we're all familiar with. Duke undoubtedly is more top-heavy, right? They have players like Chandler Rivers, who is going to be preseason All-American on a lot of lists, right? He's one of the best players in the College Football 26 video game. He's all ACC. They have Brian Parker, another guy that's getting All-American nods on their offensive line. Darian Mensah was one of the highest-priced guys out of the transfer portal, right? They've got maybe these headliners. But State has like a noticeable amount more players on the Shrine Bowl 1000. I can count them for you real quick. Duke has 9 on the Shrine Bowl 1000. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for State. So what that would say is they have just a little bit more depth of like above average player rather than being super top heavy. And the reason why I bring this up, Kurt Benkert. You know who Kurt Benkert is?
Yeah, used to play at Virginia.
Played at Virginia, had a real cup of coffee in the NFL. I believe he has -1 rushing yards, and that's his only stat because he went in to take a knee one time.
Knee wasn't it for the Packers?
Packers, you're exactly correct. Which he's now like a social media guy, breaks down tape. But he gave a long, nostalgic kind of Glory Days post, right? Which you can make fun of, right? Felt like he was wearing like his Letterman's jacket as he typed it. About why he was nostalgic for his time at UVA. And basically what he said was, like they had a handful of NFL guys on a UVA team that was not very good. Okay, they didn't win enough games, and he felt they laid a foundation moving forward. But his argument was, in college football, it's almost more important to have a whole bunch of above-average players than it is to have 3 or 4 like future NFL guys, because with it being the ultimate team sport, any move, any one player not doing their job, any one player getting beat physically in a one-on-one can upend all of the cool stuff someone else is doing, right? If you have a corner that can't guard worth their bleep, doesn't matter that you have an NFL edge rusher coming after the quarterback. They're going to get rid of the ball quick enough. The guy's going to be open, and it's going to be a completed pass. So North Carolina, UNC, and Duke have 9 each on the Shrine Bowl 1000. State has 13, as I told you. That might be a reason why you could be higher on State than the other two, even acknowledging, particularly with Duke, that they might have more All-Americans. They might have more future high draft picks or whatever. I'm not saying State doesn't have any high draft picks, right? I'm a big fan of Justin Jolie. Some of these other guys might develop into something. But at least to start the year, the mock drafts and stuff have Duke with a few more high guys. UNC, I mean, they have 9. I don't know how you choose the 9 if you're the Shrine Bowl. You must be watching a lot of film of players at other schools because it's just so up in the air. You look at somebody like Thaddeus Dixon coming over from Washington. He's on the list, but you don't know what he feels like, where he fits in with this current roster. So it's another way to judge a roster, right? How many do they have? State's got 4 on the other 2 teams in the triangle. A lot on defense, by the way, which is unusual because they got a lot of position battles that still need to be sorted out on defense. What number was that? Where are we at? I got to find my notes here. That was number 2. Let's hit number 1. Let's break down some of the biggest news from Panthers training camp. First of all, coaches are in a really tough spot in the NFL because I think most of them are football guys. And what I mean by that is like maybe a little try hard, maybe a little hardo, maybe a little, they love the song Boys of Fall from Kenny Chesney a little too much, right? They've been getting teary-eyed watching Rudy since they were 7 years old. Like they're into it. Yet when they see like a training camp scuffle, they have to act like they don't like it, even though they kind of do. They like the intensity. As long as nobody gets hurt, they're all about it. But then they have to go, that's not something that we want to do. We're friendly fire, same team. There was, in their first padded practice, the first scuffle, which was between Trevin Wallace, a second-year linebacker, third-round pick a season ago, and Chuba Hubbard, a culture-setting running back for the Carolina Panthers, who Dan Morgan and Dave Canales often call like everything they want in a person and a player for the Carolina Panthers. So Trevin Wallace knocked down Chuba Hubbard during a play where you weren't supposed to do that. Chuba Hubbard popped up. They got into it. Trevin Wallace was asked about the potential bad blood, whether there was any between he and Chuba, and this is what he said.
At the end of the day, like I said, it's football, so, emotions are going to be held. We got pads on. It's a man's game. Everybody got pride of us, so stuff going to happen. But at the end of the day, we came and shook it together. It was like, it's all love, bro. Like, it was between the lines, people, like, if I got put on my behind, I'll be, pissed off too. But, at the end of the day, it's football, though. We understood, came to a level ground and, like, shook it out and talked about it.
I think it's a good sign for Trevin Wallace, if I'm being real. Because if Chuba Hubbard is the guy that is bringing that kind of, culture to the offense, Trevin Wallace, it wasn't even guaranteed that he was going to be starting until I believe it's close to guaranteed now because Josie Jewell was released right on the eve of training camp. To step right in and immediately feel comfortable kind of locking horns with one of the leaders of the offense, I think that's good. So it's not good, but good, if you know what I'm saying. Also, Jimmy Horn Jr. continues to pop. Jimmy Horn Jr., 6th-round draft pick out of Colorado. Undersized guy, but to go along with the YouTube commenter from the Feedback Frenzy earlier, speed is exciting to see when you're not wearing pads. Speed is exciting to see when you're not allowed to hit. Dave Canales was asked about the confidence he has in Jimmy Horn Jr., and this is what he said.
Yeah, just constant energy, courage. It's his play style. It showed up on film last year. He's a tough guy, and he's battling in the run game to block, to stay connected throughout the whole play, which was kind of a challenge for me to those guys. Is like, this matters. This is who we're going to be. We're a running team first and foremost, and so we need all of you to, to be involved in that. That's your contribution to what we're doing, and he takes that seriously. He studies. He's here early. He's here late. He's working on stuff that he missed. He's asking questions. He's very curious by nature. So all of the things that to me point towards being a pro.
I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. I've heard nothing but good things about Jimmy Horn Jr. I've seen nothing but good clips. He looks fast. Everything. If he's curious, right? If he's Ted Lasso out there, Walt Whitman, right? Don't be judgmental. Be curious. If he's out there doing everything right, I still need to see if the thing that is considered his flaw matters or not. He could be the most curious guy in the world. He could be the fastest. He could be Usain Bolt. He's like 170 pounds. You have to find out if that matters. For some guys it does. For some guys it doesn't. I've seen small players be exceptional football players, and he was really good at Colorado. I've also seen small players who were really good in college get to the NFL, and it's like, you might return kicks, and that's about it, because once they get their hands on you on defense, they crumble you. So until somebody says something or we see in a game that he can overcome that, that's the only question mark we have. And by the way, if he were 6 foot 195, probably like a first-round pick, right? Then you're not getting him in the 6th. Then it's a completely different beast. So you took the chance on somebody. You're hoping it doesn't matter. But for all of the hype out there, it's the same thing every time. Somebody gets really excited about Jimmy Horn Jr., and I'm like, he's 170, right? Or 174 or whatever he's listed at. He's probably 168 if we're being real. Yeah, but he's fast. Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Yeah, but he's a great dude. He runs a great route. Awesome. Love it. Still the same question. And by the way, it goes on and on. Puka Nacua. right? Puka Nacua, late round wide receiver. Everybody, he gets open. He makes catches. He's great. He was great at BYU. He's this. He was a high recruit. That's great. He ran like a 4.57, right? Tell me if it matters or not. Obviously, it doesn't for Puka. But, how hard he worked wasn't the reason why people bought in. It was once they saw he can get open without being a burner. If Jimmy Horn Jr. can sustain the physicality of the NFL without being big, you got a steal in the 6th round. But a lot of guys have been done in by that. By the way, I've read a whole – I don't even know who it was, so I apologize. I read a whole thing on Twitter about why Puka Nacua works despite being a 4.57 guy. Apparently, he's the best in the league at not slowing down when he makes a catch. So even the fastest guys, as they're catching the ball, right, they're focused on the ball, their feet slow down a little bit. He is if he's, somebody else might run 22.5 miles an hour. He might run 21.5. But at no point in time does he go down to 20. The other guy goes to 20 when he's making the catch. So his yak and everything are just a little bit better because he's not getting caught when he's making the catch. How in the world does a scout notice that and go no, draft him. He doesn't slow down when he makes the catch. I have no idea. I don't even know if they knew. They may have just gotten lucky with the Rams. But if you have a little factoid like that tells me Jimmy Horn Jr. won't be held back by his size, then I'm in. That's what I'm looking for is what I'm saying. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, you can't always choose your timing. And I'll explain why I told you that right now. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Timing, timing, timing. Everybody says timing is everything. And it is. But it's not always something you can control. So if you're looking for a house, if you're looking for a mortgage, it might not be the main reason is because rates are so awesome right now. If we could all wait until rates were low, how awesome it would be. But guess what? Can't always choose your timing. Maybe you need to move for a job. I've done it. I gave up an awesome interest rate from the early 2020s when I moved here. And it's hard to see sometimes. But you can't choose your timing, right? Life happens. Jobs change. Family situations happen. Maybe you have another expansion in your family on the way. You need a little bit more space. That's not negotiable. That's something you need. You can't wait for the perfect time. So if rates are a bit higher and you're a little reluctant or you're a little scared of what that monthly payment is going to be, Miller Lending can help take that edge off, help take that bite off. And what I mean by that is they offer something called a no-cost loan. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. That's Gordon Miller. And that'll help you keep a little extra change in your pocket. You don't have to take that cash out of your pocket at closing for closing costs and fees. That can cover maybe the difference between what you were hoping to pay in a monthly payment and what you have to pay in a monthly payment for 6 months, a year. It depends on how much you're saving, how much your closing costs would have been, right? So that gives you time. And then if rates drop, refinance. Again, no costs, no fees, and you've made it out comfortably. Talk to Gordon Miller. Talk to Miller Lending. They can explain more. The number is 919-447-3377, locally owned right here in Cary, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. All right, quick rant here before we grab numbers game contestants. I'm watching the SportsCenter Top 10 as we're doing this right now, just on in the studio.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
They just showed a practice one-on-one rep with Marvin Harrison Jr.
It was a cool catch, though. I don't know about number 3, a training camp.
They've got real Major League Baseball highlights in-game behind. This is a cool catch in practice where the stakes were 0.
And then the top 2 are just MLB guys robbing actual in-game home runs.
Marvin Harrison Jr. was one of the top picks in the draft last year. He can make a cool catch with no stakes whatsoever. Whoa, give him a highlight. SportsCenter Top 10, come on. Come on. Actually, all of you out there, come on. We need some numbers game contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete on the numbers game. The prize for today, a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash. $25 to get your car looking spick and span. Call in now to play the numbers game, 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
How about a little taste of NFL football? The Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Herbert throws it in the air. Catch made. McConkey takes it all the way for the touchdown. 86 yards.
Detroit.
Jamison Williams gets a block, breaks a tackle 20, staggers to the 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Detroit!
Thursday night at 8 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly when 21.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. And it should be a good one because we have a couple veterans on the line. Lucius in Fuquay-Varina, and we have Micah in Morrisville. And they will be battling it out in the numbers game for a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash. As always, I will ask a question. Same question to both of our contestants. And our producer for today, that'll be Max, will be the judge. Pick their favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Lucius in Fuquay. Lucius, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. The question is, we're talking a lot about training camp and NFL, so we'll put it simple. What player are you most excited to watch this NFL season, and why?
Well, I'm a Falcons fan. I'm about to visit Atlanta in 2 days, so Bijan Robinson, let's go.
All right, little running back action. You could have gone a lot of ways there. There's some excitement. Michael Penix, maybe.
We've actually lost our guy Micah here on line 2. So actually, as of right now,
this is unbelievable, Max. You are horrendous luck.
The harbinger of dropped calls here. So we do have another spot open for the numbers game. 919-860-5326.
All right, call in now. Micah, if you can get back on, I would like to hear from you, but also anybody else who can beat Micah back on the line.
Micah, he may have he had won like pretty recently, but he had given the prize to the other competitor.
Okay.
So maybe he just felt like he should give someone else a chance. I don't know. All right, we got someone on the line. We're going to see here.
Let's see who it is. All right, so Lucius is locked in with Bijan Robinson, and we'll see who the next caller ends up being. It will be Hunter. All right, so Micah got replaced here. Hunter in Raleigh is next up on the line. We'll ask him the same question. Max will have a chance to pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Hunter, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, same question to you. We've been talking a lot about NFL training camps, Hall of Fame game, and everything else, so we'll keep it simple. What one player are you most excited to watch this NFL season?
I'm a Panthers fan, so I think Bryce Young is really going to take a step off of last year of what he was building off of. They got good offensive weapons. The defense should be average enough to get us to about 500. So, yeah, I'm going to say Bryce Young.
About 500. All right. So, wait, this is just for my own information gathering. Max, strike this from the record. The answers have been given. When you say about 500, are we talking 9-8 or 8-9?
I'm going to say 9-8, and I think the goal for this year to be make the wild card.
Okay. Playoffs in the mix, says Hunter in Raleigh. Max, that last part not part of your consideration. Are you going with Lucius or Hunter?
I mean, he said around 500 first, so I figured as a Panthers fan, he meant 9-8. And I'm quite frankly, I'm in absolute lockstep with Hunter on everything he just said, so I'm going to go with Hunter.
All right, now I have to ask you a follow-up. Are you saying wild card likely, or is that ceiling?
Wild card. I mean, I think they might just win the division. As we
Are
like
you
to say, the NFC South.
Might is doing a lot of work in that conversation. Like, put a percentage on it.
I would be shocked if they won fewer than 7 games.
All right. The over-under is set, I believe, at 6.5. So he would be shocked if the over doesn't hit. Who does that mean? That means Hunter gets to go first. Lucius, don't worry. You'll have your chance. Just stay on hold there for a second. Hunter, you ready to pick a category?
Yep.
All right. The categories are NFL players that have appeared in the Hall of Fame game, so the preseason opening game at some point in their career. NFL players with alliterative names, so their first and last names start with the same letter. NBA players that played college at Purdue, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NFL Hall of Fame.
All right. To be clear, these are players that played in the Hall of Fame game, so that at some point in their career they played in the preseason opener. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Josh Jacobs, Las Vegas Raiders.
28.
Correct. Teddy Bridgewater, Minnesota Vikings.
5.
Correct. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens.
8.
Correct. Rico Dowdle, Dallas Cowboys.
Pass.
Jason McCourty, Tennessee Titans.
32.
Incorrect. Rico Dowdle, Dallas Cowboys.
5.
Incorrect. Jason McCourty, Tennessee Titans.
31.
Incorrect. Rico Dowdle, Dallas Cowboys.
23.
Ding, you got that one. You were just for fun, right? You got 4 out of 5, which is a very good score. If you had one more guess at Jason McCarty for the Tennessee Titans, what would you have guessed?
I was thinking he was in the 30s, so I would have probably said like 33.
Okay. You can rest easy that you would not have gotten it right. You went 32-31, so I had a feeling you might go 30, which is what we were looking for.
30. Okay, I knew he was in the low 30s. Okay.
So you were close on that one, but at least, not one guess away. For those of you playing at home, with the Raiders, we would have accepted Josh Jacobs 8 or 28. He wore them both. And Rico with the Cowboys, 23 or 34. He wore them both. So solid showing. Hunter, you got 4 out of 5. We'll see if Lucius can one-up you, all right?
All right, cool.
Stay on the line. Lucius, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players with alliterative names, so their first and last names start with the same letter, NBA players that played college at Purdue, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'm going to go with that second NFL category.
All right. All players whose first and last names start with the same letter. I will give you the team and the player. You can give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it, and you do need all 5 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins.
Number 1.
Correct. Steve Smith Sr., Carolina Panthers.
89.
Correct. Wes Welker, New England Patriots.
83.
Correct. Patrick Peterson, Arizona Cardinals.
24.
What was that?
24.
Incorrect. Eric Ebron, Detroit Lions.
Pass.
Patrick Peterson, Arizona Cardinals.
31.
Say it again.
31.
Incorrect. Eric Ebron, Detroit Lions.
20. Oh, pass. Dang.
Yeah, I think you knew.
I wanted 21, man.
21.
Patrick Peterson.
You were cutting out just a little bit on your Patrick Peterson guesses only, and I'm not sure why. But we were looking for 21. You had the 20 the first time, you had the 1 the second time, but you never put them together. And Eric Ebron with the Lions.
I didn't say 21 the first time.
It sounded like you
24.
It sounded like you said 24.
I said 24 one time. I thought 21. I don't know. It's all good, y'all. I had a great game.
It sounded like you said 24 for your first guess and 31 for your second guess.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And we were looking for 21. Ebron 85 with the Lions. But 3 is normal. Like 3 is usually pretty good chance at winning. Unfortunately, not this time. But hopefully you had some fun.
Yes, I did.
All right. Thank you, Lucius. And that means Hunter in Raleigh gets the $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card. Hunter, congratulations.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. There you go. Stay on the line. Max will get the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. And we will continue Quarterback Tuesday. QB Tuesday coming up next with a look at Duke's signal caller, Darian Mensah, and his role within that program. Maybe more than just quarterback. Maybe mercenary. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
I've got a nickname for the Carolina Panthers defense this preseason, the Donut D. A big hole in the middle now that linebacker Josie Jewell got his release and Shaq Thompson was cut months ago. If Ejiro Evero gets this D shaped up in time for the regular season and finds a way to stop second-level runs, he gets a medal and a contract extension.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Go!
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Max continues to surprise with his music choices coming out of break. Not to be mean, because I actually like that you have a bit of unusual taste in music for somebody your age. When you're hanging out with your friends, do they let you grab the aux? Do they let you grab the Bluetooth?
I cut everyone some slack usually and just don't reach for it because I know most people in there. Although honestly, I have noticed recently, like I've seen a lot of pop for yacht rock and like they like to call it like divorced dad rock, but I have noticed some more people that are into like the 70s, 80s kind of stuff.
I was never that guy in my friend group either. I would never reach for the music. But I like a lot of respect for someone who, especially if there's like a decent amount of people and you don't know everybody, if you're comfortable grabbing the controls and playing music, that's an amount of confidence that I'm not sure many have. Because it can go sideways quick.
I'm not trying to catch that heat because I don't know enough about the top artists these days. I really don't.
The one time, real quick, for obviously mine and my wife's wedding, it's really the one time I've had like a lot of say over the music played at any big party gathering. And there's a lot of decisions to be made there, right? Do you have any vetoes? Absolutely no's. How do you want to handle requests? What songs are must plays? We essentially gave like every song. We eventually just did the work and said, you can pick the order and you can do it, but we're comfortable with these. And it was a great party. I'm not biased at all. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and now I'm walking into the distance, right? That's like I have one good playlist, and I'm out. I'm donezo. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Quarterback Tuesday, something we're test driving here to see if it sticks, at least until we feel comfortable with the situations of all the local teams' quarterbacks. Like, we know them. We're aware of what they bring to the table. But from like from Bryce Young down to the college guys, there's a lot of question marks coming into this season. So there's a day set aside to make sure we're not ignoring the most important position on the field. Let's look towards Duke's quarterback, Darian Mensah. Darian Mensah, first of all, expensive, right? Depending on which reports you believe, anywhere from, $3 million and change per year in NIL to CBS says $4 million a year in NIL. Darian Mensah is a hired hand. It is a business deal for Duke. At least that's the way I'm looking at their relationship. He is a pro quarterback hired to do a job, right? Duke seems to want to operate like they're a mom and pop shop, right? Where they're asking once a player gets onto campus that you give them the commitment and, we'll help develop you in exchange for loyalty from your side to us, right? It's kind of like a family-owned business. And then quarterback is like the one part of their business they outsource to independent contractors. That seems to be the way they're deciding to operate. Right, it's the one part that they can't afford the factory to build, so they send that overseas. But everything else is assembled by people who their first name. Manny Diaz's defense will be good because it kind of always is. He's a good defensive mind, but also because they have good, loyal players that could have cashed in this offseason. Guys like Chandler. Why am I blanking on his last name? I've said it a million times. Rivers. Goodness gracious. Chandler Rivers, guys like Terry Moore in that secondary, guys like Trey Freeman, guys that we've talked to. Their defense will be solid. The outsourcing is we need somebody to run the show on the offense that will put up enough points to take advantage of our homegrown defense, to take advantage of a good offensive line that they put together. And sometimes it's good to know where you stand on those sorts of things. Darian Mensah said, right, his words, not mine, when he started looking around for options and his agent started calling around and seeing who was interested, he was surprised. Darian Mensah was surprised that Duke was near the top of the list of potential destinations. Do you know what I would guess? I'm not saying it was the final decision because we did talk to him about it, and he said Manny Diaz and the offensive scheme and everything were huge parts of his reasoning for choosing Duke. But do you know what I would guess, what I would wager was the thing that made him consider Duke? Dollars. Right, he saw the offer they made and went, well, shoot, I should talk to their coach, right? I should see if I like it there. And then the other priorities can come in. But it's sometimes, like, it's good to know where you stand. He loved Tulane, right? If you listen to what Darian Mensah says, he loved Tulane. Not only did he leave Tulane, he left and went to a team that is playing against Tulane this year. Duke is playing against his old team that he has openly said, I didn't want to have to leave, but, life-changing money is life-changing money. He didn't use those exact terms, but pretty much. That's kind of cold-blooded. So guess what, Duke? If he has a monster season, if he's all ACC, if he leads you to 10 wins, he might love Duke and be playing against you the next year. Because you're right, how they found you is how they'll leave you. That's the saying about relationships, right? If somebody cheats on their partner with you and then leaves their partner to date you, I don't know if you should be surprised if they cheat on you. How they found you is how they'll leave you. If he loved Tulane and left for better business somewhere else, even if he loves you, you shouldn't be surprised if he leaves for better business somewhere else. Not many guys leave Duke in the portal, but quarterback is something they obviously treat different. You can go find the Graham Bartons. You can go find the Jordan Moores. You can go find some guys that have been really good players over the last couple of years. But guess what? Malik Murphy was on campus for a year. Then he transferred out. He's at Oregon State now. Quarterback's a little different. It's the one thing that they kind of outsource. And by the way, I don't think this is necessarily a bad way to handle business. I think every coach in a vacuum would say, I would like to build through players that we get on campus and we have a hand in developing and we get to know and we have relationships with, and we'd like to do a bulk of our production from guys that we know. But they also will acknowledge it's very difficult to have no holes in your roster with all guys that you kind of evaluate and bring in as high schoolers or bring in as youngsters and develop. It's very hard. Even Clemson learned that, and Clemson recruits at a ridiculously high level and resisted the transfer thing for a long time. Coming into this year, they looked at their edge rushers and said, we've got a couple NFL guys, but we also need depth, and they brought in some studs, one from Alabama, one from Purdue. It's hard to evaluate quarterbacks. It is much more difficult to evaluate quarterbacks when you get beyond the top 20 recruits in the country. Right, when the top, the Elite 11 quarterbacks, the ones that are super studs coming out of high school, there is an element of they have a certain physicality, they have a certain ability that you're comfortable with. But if you're picking from the best 3 stars you can find, right, those that have a family member that's already on campus or something like that, you got to have the connection. It might be easier to let Tulane find the diamond in the rough and then buy it off them. Meanwhile, you can do a good job evaluating linemen and corners and defensive front seven, and you build all that up and then go connect your quarterback elsewhere.
Just a side note, Tulane made it out pretty good in this deal. They got Jake Retzlaff from BYU to be their starting quarterback after the departure of Mensah. So assuming everything is
that's a whole complicated
with
situation.
His situation
yes.
and everything.
And that's very difficult to predict.
In terms of the level of player, though, they made out decently in this.
I still
exchange.
think they'd rather have Mensah. But you're right. I mean, that's again, I don't want to go into all of the things that led to the BYU quarterback being available. But Duke might have their hands a little bit more full with Tulane than they thought when they took the quarterback away from him and had him on the schedule. Here's the thing with Darian Mensah. Okay, and this is Quarterback Tuesday. We're talking about Duke's quarterback, Darian Mensah, incoming transfer. I was wildly impressed with how he carried himself at ACC kickoff. I've talked about this a few times. He was my choice for the magnetic. We need to come up with a name for the award. At the end of every football and basketball kickoff and tip-off event, we pick one person who commanded the room.
He had the most aura.
Right? When he walked in, didn't matter who you were talking to, you naturally were like, what is going on over there? And it's happened a few times. Right, in my time going to ACC Media Days, and overwhelmingly they have good seasons. I'm not saying I know anything because I'm not the only one that noticed it, right? But he carried himself in a way that had presence. I do think that is something that Duke kind of needs, right? When you are a football team that is perennially put in the box that Duke is put into. Do you know how many games Duke has won the last 3 years? 9, 8, and 9. 3 different quarterbacks, 2 different coaches, different coordinators, different best players, different running backs. 9, 8, and 9. When I checked last week what their over-under was in win total, 6.5. When you're perennially put in that box that Duke is put into, which is, the little brother of the basketball school or whatever, the little brother of a couple other programs nearby, whatever, the stereotype, the reputation is, you need somebody with the presence. You need somebody with the command to get everybody to buy in. It's why under Riley Leonard, it felt like they were more dangerous than Malik Murphy, even though they won the same amount of games or even more with Malik Murphy than they did with Riley Leonard. But Riley had a bit of that presence, right? He was one of the picks coming out of ACC kickoff as a surprising, commanded the room guy. Had a little sparkle in his eye when the game was on the line. Meanwhile, Duke was losing games with Malik Murphy when they got 5 or 6 turnovers on defense. It was just a different beast. If Mensah can be more of that, I think it changes everything for him. I think it's worth the money. Because that's the new, judge of talent evaluating in college. Right? It used to be, Okay, you got a 5-star. That player played well. Great. You can really increase your team when you find the 3-star or the 2-star or the no-star that goes on to be all conference. Now it becomes, is every dollar you're spending bringing back more than $1 worth of value? If Mensah transforms the aura of Duke, it's worth the $3.5 or $4 million he's making. If he comes in and he's just like a run-of-the-mill average ACC quarterback, I don't know if it's worth all that cash. There is a certain floor for Duke this year because they have, a solid offensive line led by Brian Parker, a solid defense led by Terry Moore in the secondary. Like, they have a certain floor. To get that ceiling raised, somebody's going to have to make everybody believe. And that's worth $4 million to me. It ain't my money. I wouldn't be paying $4 million for it, but that's mostly because I wouldn't be leaving the bank unless it's paying for a house, college education for my kids or something. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Today was the first QB Tuesdays. We broke down C.J. Bailey. We broke down Gio Lopez. We broke down Darian Mensah. These are the college quarterbacks in the triangle. As camps open up and we hear reports and we see some things, we'll continue to check in on the quarterbacks because it is that important. And you can schedule your week around it every Tuesday for the foreseeable future. If we get bored with it, we'll stop it. That's the beauty of being radio. But Darian Mensah right there, hired assassin for Duke. If he does his job, they could surprise some people. Again, they're the only team that can surprise people by putting the exact same amount of win total every year. They can win 9 games every year. Everybody's going to be like, wow, look at Duke. It's just the nature of being Duke football. That's it for The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan for today. Thank you to Max for keeping us up and running. I believe we have Dennis back tomorrow. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, 99.9 The Fan. Other than that, enjoy tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Are the Detroit Lions really as close as we think they are?
Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are right there. And I believe in the culture that head coach Dan Campbell has built in the Motor City. Yeah, I think the Detroit Lions are going to be right there again, vying for NFC supremacy. And I think this is one of the best teams in all of football.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love.